How long can you survive starting with a single colonist in medieval Rimworld? Normally, Rimworld is all about developing a sci-fi colony and researching advanced space or technologies to build your might and create a well-run, bustling set of industries. But what if we stripped all that technology away and turned back time to the Dark Ages? So today, I embarked upon an adventure to create a colony with the Rimworld Medieval Overhaul mod. Starting from a single colonist, meet our protagonist, Alaric, the Exiled Knight. Starting with only one lowly pawn with knightly ambitions to build a kingdom and erect a castle, can our protagonist Alaric avoid starvation, recruit companions, and ultimately build a castle worthy of a kingdom? Let's get started. Alright, we've just spawned in, and it's time to meet our protagonist. Here we go, it's Alaric, the Exiled Knight. 30-year-old man. Ironically, the name Alaric means ruler of all, but we're starting out as master of none. Abandoned child and colony settler. He possesses the traits of industrious, jogger, veteran, and nimble. This will slightly buff up his work and walking speed, and he's gonna need it if he's the only one around here. Veteran is a pretty unique trait that increases all of his combat skills, as well as it also improves his mental break threshold, so he's more hardy. It's gonna be helpful to have a colonist that's just slightly less neurotic to start, as well as the trait of nimble, which improves his melee dodge chance. He has the potential to become a very skilled warrior. He also has that double passion in melee combat. He's not good, but he has the potential to become an expert builder, and as well as several other areas in general labor. Other than that, we're starting off alone. All we've got is the armor on our back and the sword in our hands. Let's get started. So just as we begin, let's take a look at our surrounding map. We are located in a river valley right here, and there's not really too many mineral or stone deposits. I think as we build toward meeting our initial needs, we're going to set up in this area right about here, where eventually we'll build our fort. But before we get started on any of that, we're going to need food, water, and shelter to survive. So let's just gather all of the materials around us, and we're just going to allow any materials lying around on the ground. And we're just going to store everything right here in a stockpile zone by the riverside. And there we go, Alaric is just gathering all of the materials and he's going to deposit them there. Great, we're starting to get some of the base materials dropped off. Now that most of the base materials are out of the way, we can start to clear the way for construction by the river. So we're just going to take all of these trees over here and chop them down. And you might notice that some of these trees look a little bit different from the normal Rimworld ones. I've actually installed a mod pack to just make them look slightly more realistic. All the mod information is in the description below if you want to try it out. Nice, we're getting a little bit done here. Alaric is gaining some experience and has just reached plants level 5 with his single passion. Alright, now that we've got all those trees cut down and some of the materials gathered, let's start to store these away because they're deteriorating outside. And I think for all this, we're just going to construct a normal wood wall with an entrance facing down to the south. There we go, that's pretty good. We're just going to put a couple gates on this room. And we're just going to set Alaric to work non-stop until he finishes this hut. It is getting to be nightfall, but we want him roomed in before he goes to sleep. Otherwise, he's going to have bad quality of sleep tonight. And we're just finishing up. For his sleep tonight, we're going to give him just this simple sleeping spot. It's not much, but it should provide comfort of 0.4. Which, honestly, that's better than sleeping on the ground. Alright, just roofing up, and it looks like we are just about ready to go to sleep now. 2 a.m. and we've just finished 1 day's worth of work. Alright, it's early morning on day 2 and the sun is just dawning, so now it's time to attend to some of our basic needs. We have our shelter, but now we need to take care of food. The soil right here next to our shelter is fertile, so we're going to just place a small growing zone for rice here outside. Great, Alaric is awake and he's just cutting all the plants out from there. And good, we've just got a little bit of rice in the ground to get us started on our hunger needs. Until then, we do have some of this smoked meat to rely on, but other than that, we probably want to harvest some berries from these bushes. They look ready to harvest, and we can pluck them right away. There we go. He's getting successful harvests. Alaric has pretty good basic plant skills at 5 and a single burning passion, so he is good here. Got a couple botches, but that should still be plenty to feed us. Right, now with those stored away, we can start attending to security. So we could rely on spike trap constructions here, but I actually think that Alaric himself is a pretty good warrior. Most of the animals around here are pretty weak as well, so at melee skill only level 3, I think we're just about ready to take on maybe only a squirrel with confidence. So I'm just going to draft Alaric, and we are going to set him off to some intense squirrel fighting right away. So he's pretty well equipped for this. It took only maybe 1 or 2 hits to take out that squirrel. And we've just got the body lying right there. We'll eventually butcher that, but we could really take out a few of these things. Let's just hit one more. From that one alone, he gained 1,437 skill, and there we go, now up to 2,274. Since he is so passionate, he's going to gain a lot of skill every single day, so there we go. Maybe just one more small animal here, and let's fight this hare. Okay, there we go. We've actually got a warg hunting Alaric. This is actually a little bit dangerous already. A warg is a pretty intense fight, but I'm pretty confident here with this armor, and he's just up to melee level 4. And he did take some damage. Ooh, that did actually break the skin, but a warg is a very strong animal. I'm surprised he's actually that okay from that fight. Well, nothing too bad, just a couple of little scratches on his left arm. We're just going to have him self-tend, and we'll rest a little while. The first 2 days, from wild man to survivor. Now we've pinned down those foundations of our establishment. Even after a brief encounter with that warg, we're still standing on our feet. It may not be much, but this is more than just a collection of supplies now. It's the kernel of survival. It's that axis which bears all the fruits of civilized living. Alright, while we're resting, I think it's time to start sketching out some plans for our overall base. So along this riverbed, it's going to be my plan to build a moat by channeling the rest of this river out into the sides of what will ultimately become our fortress. We're going to need a pretty wide area here because there's all kinds of things we're going to need built within. Farms, housing, barracks, you name it. But if we just start with a large wall surrounded by this moat, and ultimately we'll probably have some sort of drawbridge right here at the front to allow entry and exit, we'll probably end up creating some sort of larger structure right just about like this. We'll hollow out the wall within so that we can march in and out. And then on the inside here, right along the periphery, we'll start building the rest of our structures. Storage, bedrooms, our hall, you name it. And right around the center, we'll end up having our planting fields right around here. This is all just a rough layout, so we'll eventually come to realize this, but this is just to give an idea of what we're kind of working toward this time. So for out here, what this actually means is that the area right now that's our jumpstart base is probably just going to end up becoming like a gatehouse or some sort of tower on the outside of our wall. For right now, this is all way too much for one man to undertake the construction of, so instead of all that, for right now, I'm just going to remove some of these plans. We have the kind of general idea, but I don't want them distracting me from my jumpstart base. And tomorrow morning, what we'll plan is to build just a very small trap hallway right here, so that if any enemies come in, I have at least something to lean toward. Along with that, we're just going to extend our wood wall here so that we force the enemies to come through the water to meet us. Right, for right now, this is all honestly a pretty crude layout, but what we can get started with is sawing some wood logs. So if we build a trestle right here, we need this to transform raw wood into planks. So we're just going to build this right outside of our kind of hovel right here. And now that Alaric is all healed up, he'll just get started on some new construction projects. I'm just building him a horseshoe pin so that he has some recreation options right here. And here we go, we are just finishing up all of our work for the day with one new security measure to lean to in case if anything gets bad. We'll just hold that door open and there, we are protected. It's pretty crude, but for right now, it is functional. Now, in the meantime, despite building all of those security defenses, I do have a lot of faith in our protagonist's melee capabilities, so let's continue fighting some weak animals, starting with this tortoise, maybe. There we go, that's just a little bit more experience. Let's go after this hare as well. Amazing, level 5 already. I think we can go after just one more hare today. This is another pretty low-risk fight. Alright, we've got our first offer for a joining colonist. A medieval farm oaf named AJ has arrived and wants to join the colony. He is willing to contribute, but will not leave voluntarily, claiming to have nowhere else to go. Alright, I guess we might as well accept him just to see what he's like, and if we don't want him, then we'll just kick him out. AJ. Welcome, AJ the Oaf. What is he like? Oh, he is an incredible colonist already. We've lucked out. He has a double passion in plants, he has a single passion in mining, and he could be a worthy combatant. This man is very welcome here. Welcome, AJ. Oh, I can't believe how lucky we got. That's a great colonist to start with. He's already making himself useful. Amazing. All right, let's just construct him another sleeping spot right near our protagonist. All right, things are already getting busy. I think if we have another colonist, we can just expand our jumpstart grow zone right over here to hopefully cover both of our colonists and feeding soon. We've finally covered the immediate needs. It's food, shelter, defenses, and now we've started expanding out that kernel of power, our sphere of influence, to encompass now a second colonist. Double the capacities, but still just a rough layout. Up next is where the real jumpstart kicks in. But now that we have 2 people, what may be more important would just be to separate our storage from our barracks. So let's build one more structure, shall we? I think we're going to start switching over to planks because they're just a slightly more abundant resource if we do this properly. So I'm thinking we don't want this too far off, but we're just going to build a storage room right about here. And I've given up a little bit of space here, but I wanted to just see what it would look like if I make my structures just slightly less box-like in my base. I've always had boxes, and I just want to try something new. Alright, and also for our jumpstart base, I think we are just going to build a simple research table right here. We need this to start creating some basic furniture, because I'd like to create a table and chairs for our people to eat at. We have a mad gazelle attacking the colony. This should be no problem for Alaric. Of course, in all of his bravery and power. Amazing. We've dodged a deer attack. Alaric is completely unscathed from the fight with the evil deer. Alright, now that we've got the research table built, we're going to begin researching complex furniture so that we can get some beds ready for our colonists. Alongside that, we're just going to build a table outside so that we can start sitting at it. And that's overall just going to make our colonists a lot happier. And amazing, we have constructed the table of normal quality. Alright, we're ready to name our colony. I think for our faction, as we are men living in exile, we should go with maybe a name like the Nameless Pilgrims. We are nomads in search of a new home. In keeping with that theme, our settlement name will be Greymile. We are the Nameless Pilgrims of Greymile. Hoo-ha! It has, like, a little bit of hoo-ha energy to it, doesn't it? And, okay, amazing. With all of that, it looks like we're just about ready with our storage. We're going to get ready to move all of our items from our stockpile in here, all the way over to here, and we will just get those out of our barracks to make it a lot more pleasant for our two protagonists now. I also think we should give AJ a new name. He is a farm oaf, and he's very good with plants, and I just think that the name AJ sounds a little too, maybe, modern for him, so we're going to call him something that maybe evokes the woods. We're going to call him Silas, maybe evoking some of that kind of sylvan energy of the forest. Alaric and Silas. Hoo-ha! I definitely like that a lot better. We've established the basic layout of our colony and gotten our first recruit. The foundation is now laid. Let's lay the first stones next. The jump start is complete, and now it's finally on to realizing the greater overall vision of our base. It all starts with grounding ourselves with the best defenses. Alright, now that Silas and Alaric are just finishing off their barracks and their storage space, we're just about finished here with our jump start base, and we can start to get on to laying out more of our greater plans. Just handling the rest of these roofing zones so that we can get everything stored and away. And now we can spend a little bit more time looking at industry by sawing down this raw wood into planks. All this is going to be used from going from these crude wooden log walls up to these wooden plank walls. I think that they look just a little bit nicer and more organized. Right, now that we have a dedicated planter, we can spend a little bit more time butchering some of the animals that we've hunted down. So I've constructed this wooden campfire right here so that we can start cooking up some of this meat we're harvesting. And good, it looks like Alaric's just about finished up with that, along with these wooden wall torches over here. This is going to give us just a little bit more light and make it faster to walk through each of these rooms. And since our defenses are still just a bit skimpy, we are training Alaric. He's already at melee level 5, but progressing on his way to 6. We just need to fight a few more animals. And it doesn't really matter which animals they are, so let's go ahead and fight this squirrel. The next of many heroic campaigns. Nothing too big. Maybe just this red fox right here. There we go, and he's gotten to kind of a spat with the fox, and he has just reached melee level 6. Now this is fine, he shouldn't be taking anything too bad. See, nothing has broken the skin, so he has no danger of wound infection here either. So these are pretty safe fights when he's wearing all of this armor. Right now, Alaric has 86% block against sharp attacks, 39 against blunt, and even 61 against heat attacks. And we are going against our first raid right here. This is Arseny from House Hesse. Let's get a look at him. He is actually pretty decent at melee. Now, I've got another colonist to lean on, so I'm pretty confident here, but let's see if we can get Alaric some more experience here against this raider. Alright, we've drafted both of our colonists. We just need to make sure that Alaric is the one who gets into the one-on-one fight. Alright, we are engaging the raider, and he's got a couple hits off on Alaric, but Silas remains uninjured. That was nice support there, and we can strip him of his gear, because this will be useful. Silas right now has nothing. And it looks like Alaric did get a stab wound that got through his skin, but nothing too bad right here. Right, now that the fight's over, I've arranged a corpse dumping stockpile zone here in the river. Now, if we keep raider bodies here, they should deteriorate really quickly, so this will take away any need to burn these bodies as they come. Along with that, that should also keep them more or less out of the sight of our colonists so that they aren't an eyesore and making them unhappy. And he is in chest-deep moving water, so his body should deteriorate pretty fast. Alright, we're all healed up now. I just wanted to show this. I thought that the lighting looked really cool from the cooking. There's something about the campfire that just spreads out the glow of the fire on the trees around, and it just looks really nice to my eyes. It's like, in a sea of darkness, there is but one light. The exiles of the Grey Pilgrims. Hoo-ha! Alright, this is a long ways away, but the next thing I've assigned for the construction of is this wooden ice cellar. So when we eventually do get our hands on some ice, maybe from a trader or if we get a cold snap or something like that, we will be able to store it underground where it's better insulated and it can last. This is our only real shot in medieval ages of either a freezer or more likely some type of refrigeration throughout the year, but something new to do. There we go, just a little bit more visual interest in our base, and done. The next task, since we're still kind of sleeping in these crude sleeping spots on the ground, is we want to get some actual beds, and we have to do a little bit of research onto complex furniture for that. So I've assigned Alaric here at the table to begin research on that, and we have complex furniture incoming with the opportunity at an incredible bed. Although, even at 3x speed, he still is just extremely slow. So he needs to improve. All right, we're going on another night hunt. Some of the animals are asleep, so I thought that this would be an interesting way to just get a little bit more melee experience for our two protagonists, especially since we will need to encounter anybody that we meet in combat, so this is pretty important. Just a couple of low-stakes fights here, and that gets us ready for raids, as well as a little bit of extra food. Alright, since security is the next major concern, I've opted here to erect a palisade wall all around our outer claimed wall territory. Now, this is an ambitious project, but, I mean, it's just basic wood. Each of these costs only 3 wood planks and requires only 3 work. I'll just zoom in here. These things are pretty quick to construct, and you lose only 1 wood plank if you botch the construction. So let's just speed through this and give them a little bit of time, and we can clear up some of these plans. There we go. I've just removed some of the plan overlays, and although these are a crude defense, I think that they do look pretty good for right now. And all of that should just channel enemies right into our front entrance so that we have one small bottleneck to confront them at. While we're getting all that built, I've just started to move all of our planting field zones to the center here. Now, this may not be the fertile soil over here, but hey, at least it'll be a little bit more centralized, and we have plenty of room to farm here at the center of what will ultimately become our colony. And we've just about finished this front gate area. I've tried to kind of narrow and lengthen this kind of front causeway where enemies have to come and attack us. And I'm not overdoing it with kill boxes, but I've opted to use just a couple of spike traps to just slow down any attackers that come in. I'm going to kind of stay to this. I want to use an alternative defense this time, as well as what will ultimately become sort of a drawbridge area right here. Alright, and we are just about done now with our palisade wall. The entire area is enclosed, and any enemies that come will probably path through our front gate here. Although it isn't immune to fire spread, so there's a lot of wood along the outside wall. That's the next thing we're going to have to take care of. But for right now, I do think it looks pretty good, honestly. Alright, so to enhance our defenses, the next step I'm going to take is to channel all of the water from this river into what will ultimately become a moat around our castle that will be too deep for anyone to cross it. We're going to start off just by kind of digging and channeling it up from the river over here, and then we'll bring it all the way around the rest of our base so that we have an even moat going all the way around. And we'll deepen it, too. Now, ultimately, the plan will be to make this too wide so that no fire can spread while we're still reliant on this palisade wall. Although this palisade wall is for now just a temporary measure until we actually get, ideally, a slate castle wall. I want the darkness to contrast with the river around. And we are just getting this river channeled around here and bringing the water over. And this is great. We've got a little bit of a moat right here. This isn't wide enough. I'm kind of chattering my teeth right here because fire could theoretically spread from this tree to this wall and just burn down our entire encampment still, but just cross your fingers for a minute. All right, and another day gone by, and we are just moving our way up to channel more of the water. You can appreciate how with fewer tools, all medieval societies just had to make more plans in advance. It is really beautiful from above. You can just start to see all of the plans starting to take shape and contrast with the rest of the area around. In the meantime, while all that's getting started, I'm just designating out all of the central trees to get chopped down. We need to make space for our planting fields here in the middle. And this is great. With his double passion and plant skill 10, Silas is just mowing through these trees. Alright, a little more time has passed, and we are just about surrounded here with our moat. And with all that, we are actually being raided again here. This is a group of 3 brigand thugs. Their tools are pretty crude, though, so we shouldn't have too much trouble with them in combat. Okay, they've come to our front gate and stepped on both of the spike traps here. We're just waiting on standby. Let's actually hit this guy. He's got what appears to be a polearm right there. Here, hit him. We have a little bit of space. Alaric should be fine, but watch out for Silas. Actually, maybe run away there for a moment. Here we go. He is in combat with Alaric, and he's stuck there. Let's just get a little bit of space. And oh my goodness, we've literally got the bread. Would you look at that? 13 fresh bread right there. Amazing. Injuries here appear to be not too bad either. Nothing broke the skin on Silas. As well as Alaric is just bruised from the fight. And alright, a little bit more time has passed, and we've just about finished up our trench, or our greater moat here. Now, fire, like I said, still can spread. We just have to get a couple of these chunks out of the way that are still in there. But overall, with one more layer on this, that should prevent fire spread. And on top of that, prevent any tunneling enemies from wanting to come inside. Now we're almost completely safe. We've shut out the danger from outside. And we've also got the center area cleared of trees, so now we've made the way for planting. On top of this, the next thing I've ordered is the deconstruction of all the inside structures. We still just had a few extra floors and ancient ruins inside the fortress that we could use the materials for. And it looks like we've got a structure which looks like steel, but it's actually made of iron here. So this is a little bit more of a crude material. Later on, we'll make steel. It's just going to require a bit more processing. We'll put that into our storage. The next one we've got is to mine out this coal node over here on the left side. Now, I'm okay with mining out this entire thing because whether I toggle roofs on or off, there's actually no rock roof overhead, or well, especially mountain overhead. That would be more dangerous, then we'd have to support that somehow. But nope, this is just a freestanding coal node. And good, a little bit of progress there. We can use that coal to fuel all of our fires and torches for a while. Now, we did get a flash storm and a fire that's erupted over here, so actually, we'll see in a moment how this fire can spread to our palisade wall, and it probably will. We just have to check our home area right here. This is what I'm talking about, why we've toggled off our home zone outside of this, but this will ignite if it spreads over the wall. See, it's got that 2-tile spread radius. Oh no, it's actually gone over here to the equipment, so we need to be careful here. Let's actually wake our guys up because we want them to just put these fires out. Yep, it is spread onto the palisade wall. This is why we need to just widen out our moat. So we'll be pretty good right here. We might have to do a little bit of, well, literal putting out of fires, just keep putting those out, but yeah, just wanted to demonstrate that. Alright, the fire has taken its toll on our front wall. Nothing too bad. We did have a storm start, but now we're getting a wanderer joining named Lynx. So let's accept this colonist and see what they're like. We've got Lynx coming, and you are 44-year-old woman, extremely good at melee combat, body purist and brawler, as well as some pretty good cooking skill right there. Okay, this could be a useful colonist. Yes, we will take you. Except I think we need to rename her something a little bit more of like an ancient warrior name for her melee skill. Let's go with Hilda. Hilda, the fearsome, incredible warrior / cook. Hoo-ha, welcome Hilda. Alright, the next item on our agenda is to build out these wooden storage locations. Now, these take up a lot of room on the floor in our stockpile zones, so in a moment here we will just see. All of these will be stockpiled into these larger areas for, well, that one's for timber and this one's for logs. Here we go. If we just prioritize a little bit of this raw wood hauling, this should save us some room on our ground. Pretty good. About 4 stacks per shelf space. Alright, it doesn't look very pretty right now, but with a third colonist, we should be able to start deepening out our moat. I don't want to have to keep worrying about fires spreading through the region, because pretty much any time anything comes by, well, we're pretty reliant on wood in the Middle Ages, so this is a fire hazard. But it's about to get just maybe slightly better for us. We also have a griffin visiting here. Many majestic animals, sort of fantasy-inspired, but, well, I think it fits the deep lore pretty well. Oh my goodness, actually, while Alaric was working, he's had a bear go after him. However, our melee skill is pretty good now. We've got 7 melee skill. I think we can actually take on this bear in my armor, so let me see what I can do. I've dodged, and let me just take away this view of the tree here. We can see behind the tree if we just toggle that overlay. And has he injured the bear? He has been injured by the bear, but the bear has a bad back, unfortunately. Alaric, how's he doing? Alaric's actually doing quite okay in this fight. I think he will get it with maybe 1 or 2 more hits, and goodbye, bear. All right, amazing. We'll just finish off that grizzly, and amazing. All right, get some help now. You have slain a bear. Bear slayer, Alaric. We're going to think of maybe some new epithet or great name to call him for his slaying of fearsome wild animals. Alaric, Bjorn the Bear Slayer. Alright, and with a little bit more work, we've just about got our moat completely finished. Now, we will eventually add towers onto the sides here so that they can shoot from outside and at our gatehouse. But for right now, this prevents fire from spreading inside of our base. And it just looks a little bit better, if I do say so myself. We've also got all of those extra storages up and running because we've got quite a lot of, well, just crap lying around on the ground. And I hope it gets better for us. It feels good, that first moment where you've shut out nature and asserted confident, measured, sharp right angles on the tendrils of the chaos of the natural world. There's something so perfect about that pregnant sense of development with which the layout of a new base is established, but still not quite there yet. We are just about finishing up here. I thought this would improve access on the map, so I've decided to build a bridge here across this major moat. So this just gives us a little bit of a causeway out here, and I've just left this as a land bridge right here because it basically doesn't make a difference. Maybe we'll replace that with wood just to look more, I don't know, thematic later on. But hey, it just makes it look a little bit more authentically like a fortress. I didn't notice this, it's also just really alive and nice to see the way that the river flows down here. Now this is moving water, this kind of stills out when it gets to our moat. I mean, it is quite amazing to look at. Oh, look, here it's night now. The torches at our front gate have come on. That's amazing. It's so beautiful in the glow. You could just savor that sight for a while, can't you? Okay, we've had an event of new lovers. Romance is in the air. Silas tried to attract Hilda by complimenting her personality. Hilda was attracted and is now Silas's lover. Now they want to sleep together. Okay, all right, this gives me an excuse to maybe move out from our bedrooms. So we have been living in squalor up till this point, but we'll live in, less squalor next. Probably somewhere around here in the upper right corner we'll allocate to our bedrooms, so I'm just going to get that planned next. I have sketched out the walls for some bedrooms. I'm thinking if we gave them just a little bit of a nice curvier front that might look a little bit more interesting architecturally. We will lean them here against our back wall, and eventually we'll make space for sort of a hollow in our wall over here so that people can walk to and from our defenses. We will have a tower up here, but let's just focus on this for now. These are wooden bedrooms, and hey, maybe this will give us just a little bit more creature comforts for now. Amazing, we have just about finished off laying out all of our bedroom plans. And okay, with all of that, we now have a double sleeping spot, and we're going to get a massive mood boost for Silas and Hilda from sleeping together. We'll just finish roofing those off, and then we are all ready. And in all of our development, we have actually got a new raid from these Neanderthals. Now, they are not a medieval people, but they are even more primitive than medieval. Although their tools are quite crude, and we now have a surfeit of very powerful fighters, so we should be fine. Finally, even with raids approaching, we've now got all of our defenses outlined. And even though that they aren't maybe as mighty as a fortress, they are comprehensive and they'll suit our needs for a while. Here they come over the wooden bridge, and he's gone for the spike trap. We're dealing with just one at a time right now. You can see Alaric is dodging almost all of these attacks. He's just so good. Okay, they do have a bow, but if we take out just one more, that might be enough. And Hilda is down. Nothing major, probably... Honestly, her food poisoning took her down. We'll just rescue her. And Silas also has food poisoning. Unfortunately, Hilda has been doing the cooking for the last few days, and she's almost at cooking 8, but not quite there yet. It's a good thing we got all those defenses constructed early. And alright, we are just about finishing up here. It's taken a little time. But despite how stupid we started off, we have finally just about got our complex furniture researched, and amazing, we can get some beds now. We've waited a really long time. It's been like an entire in-game season in order to get beds going. This is quite a long time. What we do have access to now, though, is this double wicker bed with wooden planks alone, which is kind of a cool surface to sleep on, I suppose. The comfort is only 0.65, but hey, that beats the sleeping spot's comfort of 0.4. And I mean, you know, if they're sleeping together, they'll at least be a little bit happier too. And this is not great. Silas is maybe not perfectly well equipped for this, but he has gotten into a fight with a warg out here. Now, he is melee level 7, so he should be able to survive until some reinforcements arrive, but maybe we'll just back him off a little bit. Got warg revenge going on, and he's down. What did he get? All right, nothing that he can't come back from, but man, already taken out one warrior. He's already crawling away. Bring in Alaric. This is where Alaric's veteran qualities come in handy. Oh my goodness. All right, rescue him. Nothing too bad here, no permanent injuries. But a warg, I mean, is not exactly my preferred animal to fight. Wow, we really did a number on this warg. Cut off tail and rear right paw. We've had a boom rat just self-tame. I will release you. That's actually really cute. Alright, I think it's time that we take all of our plans and now all of our kind of scattered buildings and make it into something more centralized. So I've tried to design just the basic outline of what a throne room might look like over here. We're going to make it out of marble because we have quite a lot of it lying around and many chunks in here that we could cut from. And then we'll keep 2 wooden rustic doors at the front. We'll kind of lay this out with a little bit more carpeting and maybe some nicer looking marble floors, but I think for now we'll just use it as a rec room and just kind of a, well, an everything locale. Just any event will go go on in here, but it's a nice place to have just so that it'll boost our colonist mood overall. And also, I took a look at what I was doing and I decided to just round off these front areas. This is going to be very spacious, more than we need at all, so just for a little bit more architectural interest and maybe helping foot traffic get through as well. We'll start to reach the final visions in a few months or maybe even years, but for right now, it's something worth savoring, a work in progress. Stop desiring for things to be finished and witness the beauty in the way things take shape. Now, a greater vision undertaken at last. Even if it's bare bones, it's the ambition of the blueprint that counts. Maybe right now it's still rough around the edges, but day by day, it's inching closer and closer to its true final form. And amazing, some progress, and we are just about complete with our blueprint. Alright, while our throne room is under construction, I've planned out the gatehouses right here. So we want to just create sort of a rounding here, so that we have an opportunity with embrasures to shoot any attackers on their way in, as well as here while they're at the front area. We're probably going to put a gate in right about here, but I've just sketched this out. I'm actually going to build up the land and then extend out the moat in the front so that any attackers will be kind of forced into this very narrow alleyway where we fight them. And alright, this has given us just enough time to work on our throne room here. So we have our wooden rustic noble chairs here at the back. I've also just opted to put a few columns in here so that we have a little bit better support in the room. And honestly, I just think that they look a little bit better. They add some beauty to the area. And alongside all of that, on the north side of our planting area, I've actually opted to plant a few oak tree groves right here. So we're going to have a sort of a lead up right here with the causeway to our front gate as we go. So you can just go straight into the kind of throne room at the top. We're just getting started here on the slate of the outer walls, or the gatehouses. And alongside that, we've also got these sandstone paths lined up. I'm just going to put these all throughout our area because we are moving through here quite a lot, and if we can bring up the speed of the foot traffic, that's just going to make everything go along a little bit more efficiently. And we are being raided once again by the Alliance of Caesar. It's to arms right away. So we aren't perfectly ready, but we could at least defend this front area right here. We do have some slate walls to lean toward. But this is a chunky attack. We've got 5 people incoming. And it's right in the area where we were just planning. Good, he's hit a spike trap. But we do have both Alaric and Hilda in front, and we've taken down one already. We've got Silas in the back. You can see how the polearm has just a little bit better reach there. Hopefully nobody's getting too badly hurt. Let's just pause for a second. Okay, Alaric, still no skin-breaking wounds, and Hilda doing pretty well right there. You know what, let's just stack up. Okay, never mind. We are pretty much fine. All right, and that was it. Amazing. Nothing too bad from the fight here. Yeah, nobody's got anything cut off, and Silas is completely unscathed. All right, a little bit more time has passed, and we've actually hit a cold snap right here. So you might notice that all of the plants are dead. If I speed up time, actually, what are we at? We're at only 20 degrees Fahrenheit, or -5 Celsius. It is quite cold out, and it is usually warm year-round in this area. I thought we were going to get a little bit of a cold season, but I was wrong. We weren't far north enough. Anyway, it is nice for raising crops. Not that we couldn't refrigerate them later on, but there will be ways. Anyway, that being said, we have a hearth going up here. I've put a sandstone hearth in the midst of our throne room, which I think makes it look like Heorot, or a great hall of the Danes, don't you? It is amazing to look upon and think to oneself, hoo-ha! I just really like the look of this here with the glow of the torches and the going up of the sandstone flagstone. This is a really nice look to our base. I'm really happy with how this is coming out. We've also got a shelving next in our storage area, just so we can store a little bit more in there. I want to keep this relatively consolidated. You can see we've got all the wood here lined up and all of the stones from all of our stone cutting from before. And I just love the satisfaction of completing the paths. Finally, we can walk at 100% speed all throughout our base wherever we go, and it just is really nice to watch. One of my favorite things to do in Rimworld is just watch how the pawns move. Now, sometimes they will take diagonals, see, like right there, but at other times they will take the straight path if it's a little bit better walking speed. See, here she's taking the diagonal even though there was path there. It's just nice to see how movement flows through your base and kind of judge accordingly. It's just something I savor about the subtle movements of pawns to and fro. It's the little decisions they make to get from point A to point B faster. Watch them. These tiny heuristics used that when you zoom out seem just natural, but when peered up at close, what you behold is a feast for the imagination. It's perfect in every little nuance. Next up, it's the armory. We're going to add shelving into our front gatehouses and make these specialized storage for weapons. So we finished the kind of outer part here, but we still need to deconstruct the palisade walls. And we've started to add in the front moat, you can see. So this is shaping up to be something a little bit more spicy, and hopefully something that just feels a little bit more thematic. We'll put in some embrasures right here, like you can tell here. They can actually see through this wall and shoot, or even use pole arms through it. So it's a pretty spicy place to be standing. Right, and with that, we can just get to work constructing the last of these embrasures. I'm going to do 5 by 1 on each side, and we've even got a couple of these weapons stored in here. So now at any time, if we get a raid, we'll hopefully just be able to go in here and then start hitting anyone outside or shooting them with bows when we get to that. We'll probably add in a gate here, maybe some other fixture here, just to kind of trap enemies in this hallway area and maybe take them out bit by bit. But just something, a little bit of an alternative to a traditional kill box that I thought made it more authentically a medieval playthrough. And amazing, after all that, we are just finishing up our basic gatehouses here. They're all looking actually quite striking and nicely contrasted. You've got the green of nature, the blue of the water, and then you've got the black of the slate right there. Along with the torch lighting, this is going to look great at night. Let me just wait till night to get maybe a closer shot. There we go. I've alternated some of these torches. I just think that this looks really good right here. It's really beautiful. And we've actually got another pawn joining. We've got Compton arriving, a forester who wants to join the colony. She is willing to contribute, but let's just get a look at her. What is she like? Who is she? Who is this person? Alright, she is a pyromaniac. I am afraid I actually cannot take a pyromaniac. I would much rather wait for someone else. She's definitely not bad, but I think that we can do better. We will get the -3 moodlet for having banished a colonist. It's just that we are far too vulnerable with the sheer amount of wood we still rely on in our base. Otherwise, maybe at a later stage we could take you, but so sorry. I think with only 3 colonists right now, just not what I'm looking for. Goodbye. Hate to see you go. Alright, our gatehouse is looking just about done here. We have our moat on the outside. We're going to have our gatehouses here. We'll probably put one on each corner and maybe in the middle as well, just to kind of break things up and so that our defenders can shoot enemies from the outside as they make their way to the gate. But then alongside that, we've also got, right now, our floors going up. So you can see Alaric is making all these sandstone floors. So wherever we go as we develop along the sides, we'll be able to hit all of our various industries. We've got bedrooms over here, storage. This will eventually be removed. Maybe even some pastures up here, as well as our throne room, and it just goes on from there. We've got our planting right in the middle so that it's easy to go to and from, and you can even start to see some of those smaller oak trees growing up from the ground now. Alright, in the middle of this, we've had another wanderer attempt to join Slick. Here we go. Slick, a mail carrier, I suppose like a medieval mail carrier, who's very far off her route, I suppose. Okay, Slick, that doesn't honestly sound that old English, though. We need something better. Nimble, chemical fascination, and jogger. Okay, you will do fine here. Jogger in particular is maybe the most essential trait, as well as that melee skill will very much come in handy, and the other skills are obviously very useful. Construction 3 and mining 3. Artistic 10 may be helpful, but not that much so. Anyway, let's rename you, let's go with Bryn. That's a beautiful name. There we go, Bryn, the mail carrier, and the jogger. Welcome, Bryn. She is now one of us. All right, we've got a little bit of fight prep happening right here. We've got a raider, and he is immediately dead because he was not very smart, and he went direct. That one went over the spike trap. Oh my goodness. Hang on a second. He has engaged us from afar, and this is honestly quite unacceptable. We are dodging his attacks. These people were really staggered this time. This man is a little bit more well-armored than the... Oh my goodness, everyone is running. Let's just head back. All right, we're building out yet another bedroom here for Bryn. She's just falling asleep with a tree in the room. Let's just ignore that for a moment, though. So we are starting to build out our hall's beauty and impressiveness. We're still at only dull, but it is extremely spacious, which is improving pretty much everything. And we are putting some marble herringstone tile, I believe this is called, on the floor. We have so many different floors to choose from in the Rimworld medieval expansion. I believe this is what is actually causing this. Yeah, medieval overhaul. So we have the herringbone, we have sandstone, or any stone, windmill tiles, and also Versailles tile. which is quite amazing. There's so many different variations here, but it's really nice to be able to vary this all up. Just an amazing expansion. Now, in addition to that, we've also got this medieval table. So I thought a long table, a rustic 1x3 table, looked like it would fit in a king's hall or a thane's hall or something like that. On top of that, we've also just added in our marriage spot up here and a party spot here as well, just so that they'll know where to celebrate in the future. The hearth is finally established. It's the heart of our kin and the founding, maybe of a new dynasty, something more than what we settled. Not just a fireplace, but a culture. Hoo-ha! The warrior spirit has been awakened. Alright, since it seems like we keep getting raids, I've set up an area over here on the side where we can do some archery training. Now, this will train our colonists' recreation as well as, oh, and here's its sprite once it's completed, as well as improve their shooting. And over here at the front, I've actually opted for some training dummies to be built over. Because we keep getting these raids from House Hessa, and quite frankly, they're very annoying. Our warriors are pretty strong, but we need to just dominate in combat, so let's get these things ready. And perfect, we've just got one of those up. It looks honestly pretty cool. I like the target. It just looks very thematic and medieval. And this part is really satisfying. I just love to get some idle training in here as Hilda is getting her recreation taken care of. Look, her shooting skill is actually slightly increasing here. And I know it's not a lot, but hey, this is pretty much totally passive since it's something we don't even need to do anything about while her recreation improves. So just really nice to get these archery targets up. As well as down here, we are just getting these melee targets done. Now, these will create sort of a rumpus in the area around. So we will need to clean that up, but hey, it's free melee training as well, so that is obviously amazing. Alright, we're back to researching here, and we are just about done with our next stint on basic agriculture, of course. This increases the number of crops we'll be able to plant. We've also got a millstone for grinding, as well as maybe the most important, plowed soil. So now anytime we put anything into the ground, we can actually plow the soil underneath to increase the fertility. Let's get a look at that for a second. Alright, so we have planted some hops in here, and let's just assign Silas to plow this soil, and it should grow up much more rich and dark right here. Let's just go ahead and do a few of these, and amazing. I mean, it doesn't really show up right now, but when we get it, it will turn into like crop rows or that kind of appearance. You can kind of see the furrows here developing. So it is quite a nice contrast to the rest of the soil we've got. And this is not good. We've got a direwolf hunting Bryn while she was out doing some errands. Let's send the rest of our warriors in. Hopefully they can catch up to her. It looks like, yes, she has rejoined our forces. We will put Alaric here in front because he is indeed the most armored. Hilda looks to be almost as armored, but she is, however, not. Let's keep Silas right there in the rear, and amazing. Okay, get Bryn out of the way. She is just too squishy, and yeah, can you see he's already going for Silas? Not very cash money. We will send you over there, maybe Hilda. All right, the fight is over. It looks like injuries were pretty minimal. Let's just finish this thing off. Now, we've had an ancient troll wander into the region. This is one of many animals around here, or well, it's considered an animal, but age 282. And these trolls possess incredible regenerative capacities. So it is a very fearsome foe. We want to keep this thing at arm's length right here. But fortunately, right now, it's standing in the middle of the fire. And would you look at that? Our moat is doing such an amazing job at being a moat. It is now keeping all of the fire away. See, this 2-tile spread radius means that it can't hit the wood over here. So we are basically fireproof the way we are right here. And this is not too pretty. I'm just going to get the viewfinder beyond the trees. It looks like this troll has eaten one of our visitors here who came to trade. That is fortunate because he did not eat us, but soon the time will come of confronting the troll. We were spared this one time because these are pretty fearsome foes. So on with the troll. And there he goes. Much as I predicted, the ancient troll wanders away to, well, go bother someone else. Alright, our next event is a herd of wandering, maddened alpaca, which is nothing to joke about, of course. They are falling into our trap, so now with some animals, we are beginning to see how this works. Hilda actually taking a little bit of damage right there, just bit by an alpaca. Nothing too terrible, of course, but we should get Alaric right here. I want them to engage with him instead. They go for my least armored person. And amazing, the alpaca trap hallway is successful. Hoo-ha! We feast on alpaca tonight. And in the meantime, we've just about got one of these cornfields ready. Let's just turn off this layer appearance so that we can start to see. Look at those beautiful furrows right in there. Such a splendor to behold. And this will improve our corn's growth rate, which is pretty important because corn is a very slow growing crop. So this is a nice thing to have around. The only downside to this is that each time we re-sow the crop, we are going to have to re-plow the field. It's pretty minimal work, however, and I mean, a decent planter should be able to get it done in very little time at all. So it's a bit of a trade-off, but I think it's worth it, and I really like the appearance. Yet another raid has occurred with the Coalition of Bellweg. These people are Neanderthals. No, literally, they are Neanderthals. I thought it would be okay to keep this group of people in the game world because they do represent a more ancient people. Their tools are crude, but their bodies are tough. Alright, this time I've attempted to hide everyone inside of our embrasures. These Neanderthals are tough cookies, and if we can keep them outside of our reach, even if they set a few things ablaze, that should be fine. Oh my gosh, this really sucks. Bryn has just had her left ear destroyed. It is gone forever. She'll never hear anything out of it again. Well, she might still be able to hear, but cosmetically, it will maybe never be the same. However, that's okay. It's medieval times. We are tough people, and we'll get through this somehow. Well, rip Bryn's ear. With that in the background, we have to keep moving on to more advanced technologies. After all, Rimworld has always been about advancing our people to the next era. So we are going to mine this incredible iron ore out of the mountain over here. And when we get back to our base, of course, then we'll be doing some metal working over here. Do we actually have this research here? No, we're working on beer brewing right now. But hey, this will be useful in the future because we have to start making our own weapons eventually, and there's quite a lot to be done. Alright, when we get all of this metal into our base, we will start creating a fueled smithy and a steel anvil. We'll need more furnaces and things like this. There's plenty of workshops here, but hey, it's a start to our workshop area. We've also got our wooden trestle for cutting timber planks out of the wood. This mending bench, if we ever manage to use it, a wooden workbench, as well as a cleaning bench. And there's a few other augments here. They all just serve various purposes mainly to process raw resources into more, let's say, usable resources, because there's many intermediaries here. We've also got water here that we've gathered, just a couple of these interesting water skins. These can actually be used to put into an ice block mold, and then if it gets cold enough, make them into ice. Right now it hasn't been active, but hey, if we manage to get another cold snap or something, may be useful. Alright, Wanderer joins Clavdia. We will accept her and see what she is like. Clavdia, welcome to the tribe. Hoo-ha. Actually, you are pretty good. You know, you are a psychically deaf wimp, but you have double passion in construction and mining. You could be a very productive, weak person. Plants and animals, this is a good colonist. Yes, welcome to the group. All right, Clavdia has joined. I've renamed her Eleanor, or Alenor, just a slight variation from those good old English spellings, and she has been very productive so far. All right, it looks like Bryn has botched this construction for now, but we are getting up a sandstone furnace, so this will get all of our metalworking begun. Yeah, we've got our armory up and running over here, as well as the furnace. Let's just get this thing done and see what it looks like when it's finished. All right, so it's lots of work, but once it's finished, we finally get an amazing, beautiful furnace. So we are going to add a bill here to smelt iron ore into ingots. I suppose we'll do it the highest volume we can, 60. We can smelt many different ores into ingots. So we could do silver, gold, if we manage to find any of them around here. But this is... honestly, this just feels like RuneScape, and I love it. I have 375 raw iron ore, so let's just get right to work here. Amazing. Hilda's brought over a little bit of the iron and has gotten to work right here. Look at this. And every ore leads to what appears to be one beautiful, shapely ingot. Whoops, we were supposed to do 60 of those. Let's do that instead. That's much better. Perfect, there we go. Now we won't do them just one at a time. And amazing, we are smelting at 60 iron ore apiece, so that is going to lead to a bunch of new amazing ingots. In the meantime, I wanted to just note we managed to create a masterwork double wicker bed for Eleanor. Here we go. So this, oh my goodness, this is a rather horrifying image. The murder of Alaric. This furniture bears an illustration of Ethelred Alec Unred waiting in a chair, wearing a desolated look. In the distance, an ocean is visible. The work conveys the emotions of lonesomeness. This depiction relates to Alaric relaxing at a training dummy on 3rd of April, May 5502. Alright, well, at least Alaric is expressing himself artistically through bed art. You love to see it. The next thing, we've gone ahead and created some iron gates here with all of those ingots that we had lying around. So this is pretty sturdy at 225 HP, and it will open and close normally, but it is just a very medieval-looking fixture here, as well as it looks like we're starting to use these training dummies, as you can see, by all of the crap on the ground, which needs to be cleaned up. But hey, I mean, this is starting to look like an authentically medieval defense, don't you think? We've also got a subtle difference here between iron ingots on the one hand and steel ingots on the other. So steel is a little bit more refined. It looks just a little bit more, well, yeah, refined. It looks amazing, but we'll be using this for all kinds of things, armor, weapons, you name it. Now at last, the vision is starting to come to life. The towers, the textures, the elements are coming together to form a cohesive whole for what this fortress could be. The strength of a castle basking in the warm glow of the radiant flicker of the firelight speckling its obsidian faces. Alright, I'm just taking a moment here, zoomed out, to take a look at our incredible front gate area. I really like this torch layout, the way that the darkness of the slate contrasts with the bright glow of the torches down there. You can see very clearly where it all leads. The hall of the king at the top, or I guess the Thane right here. We don't really have a king. I've opted for a herringbone tile made of marble here. Eventually I'll probably put in carpets once we research that technology, but for right now this is just dirt. But yeah, just lighting it up and giving it a little bit more of a kind of a magical medieval feel, and a little bit of this lamppost stuff right here. I think I'm going to do a little bit of this leading up to the front, so you can kind of see a trail of light all the way from the entrance straight up to the hall, and I think that's beautiful with these trees over here. We've got another potential joiner for the colony. This is Santos, an Rimworld drone. I think we've retained all of our normal Rimworld jobs, but just simply ignore that. You are a gourmand misogynist wimp. You know, I like this guy's passions, but honestly, I think that this is just going to cause a lot of issues in our colony. I'm going to banish you. I don't want social fights. This is rough. Be gone. See you next time. Hate to see you go. And in the meantime, right here, while we're waiting for carpets, I just wanted this hall to look better, so I've decided to place some temporary wood for around the spots where we're eventually going to create carpet. But it is getting to somewhat impressive, and when this is finished, we'll probably get to extremely impressive. So a nice hall for everyone to stand around in. And wow, that is getting to look so beautiful. I think that my eyeballs might fall out of the front of my head. Amazing. Oh, this is so unfortunate. Hilda and Alaric, two of our most skilled fighters, have gotten into a fight. Has anyone lost anything? No, it was just a bunch of bruising and gnashing of teeth. Fortunately, that does get them, well, slightly better at melee to be Mr. Silver Lining, but they are getting quite good at it. Just, I don't want them to be angry at one another. What was the fight over? Alaric called Hilda a turkey. This drove Hilda into a rage, and she began a fight. A reasonable response. I can't say that I wouldn't do the same. Our next structure is going to be a kitchen. I've laid this out right here so that it has good proximity to our fields, and if we want to, we can bring in animals from the front gate area. So this is nice for coming and going, and maybe we'll develop this area next. And for now, it's just temporarily in wood, but it's just so satisfying to see that structure go up. And perfect at last roofing. Amazing. And we are just about complete. And we have yet another raid incoming, and it is quite a big one from, I think it's House Hesse, and they are coming armed and dangerous. And okay, this attack didn't go quite as planned because my gate wasn't really oriented the right way to bring in the attackers. But hey, you know what? We're at least bringing people into our kind of trap area one by one. Let's just get Hilda out of there. Actually, that's okay. That's an alright position for you. Just gotta bring them through. Some of them seem to have gone over this way, though, because apparently I didn't cut off the water there, so next we have to handle that. Alright, we've just about handled all of them, and it looks like that actually unintentionally routed the others, so better to have spotted that weakness right now, though, than later on when it really comes back to bite us. Just to add insult to injury, the next event is a Timberwolf attack right here, right after our big raid. There appear to be about 4 of them. Although it looks like they're going to coincide right at the same time as this visit from these traders. Oh my goodness, this looks like it's going to get very ugly. And oh my gosh, these Timberwolves just tearing these people apart. Now, Silas can just stay right over there. We will just stay inside of the safety of our embrasures. And I've opened up this gate here, so we can prepare for any potential wolf attack. And it looks like they're pretty much just wiping each other out mutually. I guess we can call that pretty much resolved then. And right here we are just about finishing up work on our workshop area. Just a few more of these cut wood planks. So satisfying to see those wood floors go down. Amazing. Just about finished. We have happened on a random event, the Darkening Terror. An unnatural eclipse casts its eerie darkness over the land, shrouding everything in a thick, swirling fog that obscures vision and heightens the sense of dread as unseen horrors lurk just beyond sight. Now, in my experience, this event doesn't actually cause anything bad to happen, except just a foreboding sense of darkness everywhere, but it does look pretty cool at night, and, well, I mean, it gives everyone a -5 moodlet for Darkening Terror, but otherwise, it does actually look really nice, although I hope it gets better soon. The Darkening Terror is perhaps my favorite event. I really wish I could do more of these with realism mods, but they're just not very easy to see. There's just something about them that makes the night so much more immersive to the survival setting. It looks like the darkness is lifting just as we're getting worked on those walls. That was a close one. It looked like it was about to be the zombie apocalypse. Alright, now that we've got everything squared away, my next order of business is to assign a worker clothing policy. So I'm just going to take a look at the assigned clothing policies here and look at worker, and we'll edit these. I've actually set everything up, and we will actually make this so that our characters can hit only 51 to 100 hit points on items, but we don't want everyone walking around in soldier clothing all the time, simply because, well, it's very heavy and it kind of lowers their movement speed. The urgency of security is now kind of ended, that we are walled in, and we can switch over to worker clothing. So we're going to get into our medieval garb right here. We've got another raid, but we'll just have to take care of that. We're pretty well defended right here. Yeah, things are looking to be going swimmingly. Now we can switch everyone back into soldier clothing, ironically. We'll see how much we can get on here, though. But I've got everyone fighting at range, so let's just let them get back on their soldier gear right as they took it off. Okay, we've spike trapped a couple of them. Let's just get over here and maybe shoot that guy, especially the man with the bow. It looks like they've been aggroed to the wall, although a couple of shots are being fired now. And here we go. They shouldn't be able to get through these walls. For some reason, a couple of them are attacking the walls, but that one's going for the main gate. I guess they just don't have enough surface area now. And alright, that's a few of them down. Eleanor, don't worry about her. She's actually a wimp, so she just goes down pretty fast. She's probably okay.
Why are we still here?
Nothing too bad, that's fine. And that's great, we're just taking them down one by one here. And that's just a few more. And it looks like this one's just about broken up. Alright, we're starting to get quite a few different crops available now. We've got our first cotton harvest right here, and this cotton is going to be spun into cloth, so that's going to be a bit more of an operation. But we've also got a place for hops now. So our next policy that we probably want to get going here, that we've got a little bit of beer. Is this Alaric's beer? It appears to be so. Anyway, we are okay with a little bit of beer usage because it is the Middle Ages, and we want everyone to be happy because there is not much to do. We are going to allow them to go every day, only if mood below 35% though. That should be fine. Alcohol is, in Rimworld, not that bad, and they should be able to just pretty much use it socially, so amazing. And eventually we'll set up a hall. We'll get this ready over here in our kind of mead hall. We've now got very impressive on this room, and everything looks really good for celebrating inside of. Now, because of this new gate arrangement, we're going to be starting to rely on ranged combat a lot more. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here, or I've already gone and done, is designated all of the peaceful-ish animals for hunting nearby, except that cougar. But we aren't hunting that, though. Anyway, now we've got a little bit of hunting going on. We are getting Silas sent out there, who is one of our better rangers right here at level 8 and double passion. And he will just go out there and hunt some turkeys. Hoo-ha! Alright, each shot fired from here is worth about 100 experience, so that's pretty amazing, and that's going to get him all trained up and ready to go for battle. And if we take a look at everything from the outside, our front wall is starting to develop. I really like this contrast that's coming in now, and the whole area is just separated by that nice wide, too wide moat in just about every single spot now, so there's no vulnerable areas. Our fortress is looking pretty secure, much better than it was. Well, anyway, to begin with. Now, just a brief aside here, I've actually added in mid-playthrough the Mad Skills mod so that colonists won't forget things that they've already learned. Sometimes I find that when colonists forget things, it's just a little bit less than satisfying. I mean, as nerfed a playthrough as Rimworld Medieval is, I think it's perfectly fine. Just a brief thematic change. Alright, while we are sort of industrializing here, we have just finished researching alchemy. Yes, that's right, alchemy, which has all kinds of crazy properties. I'm not sure we'll really get all the way into all of this. Although, what it paves the way for is a smelter and steel, so that we can take all of our iron and put it in there, or, well, we can get, outside of our current furnace, which is just getting iron into iron ingots, we can get steel ingots as well, which just makes this a lot better, to be honest. Once we get steel, this will be the last of our kind of major material technologies toward our increased military might. And we can see Eleanor is working as well. She is just a little bit into intellectual, but not too much. Alright, now that our gate towers and our kind of hollowed out wall sections have been completed, I've sketched out what will next become our two sort of watchtower areas. Now we're going to put one on each corner and we'll kind of move our way up. But the plan here is ultimately to replace these front ones with embrasures so that we could shoot out from the front and then kind of follow along with our enemies to each one of these towers as they approach. In addition to that, I've just added torches along all of the hallways so that everyone can see their way through and move fast while they're getting around in the castle. Now, this is going to be a major undertaking, so I have to deconstruct everything we've already built. It will make us vulnerable for a short while, but then it'll get better again. We're going to need to deepen out the moat over here and then kind of build this back into land by filling it in. So onward with that. You can kind of see the process beginning over here, and we are just trying to keep it a little bit safe as we go through by extending everything. And amazing, the way is getting paved for our towers. Alright, with just a little bit more channeling here, we've managed to get up our towers with the embrasures. Now, it's 2 embrasures followed by a solid wall segment so that we have a little bit of space for a torch, which I think that looks nice. And then a couple more embrasures. So now we can see out and shoot enemies standing in front of our fortress before they get to the front gate. And I don't know about you, but once again, I think that the nature, the slate walls, the lighting, it all just works together really nicely and it looks great. It is a truly beautiful sight to see our castle lit in the middle of the night, this beacon in the middle of the darkness. Wow. Now on top of all our earlier elements, we're really getting a sense of what all this is adding up to. A true medieval fortress, shut out from nature's churning, untamed chaos. All adding up to harnessing its elements to curate whatever comforts it gave us in a safer haven within up till now. And once again, love is in the air. We've had a new romance flare up. We have new lovers. Bryn pursued Alaric by complimenting his medical skill. Oh my goodness, how arousing. Alaric was attracted and is now Bryn's lover. Let's see what the relationship between them is like. They are sharing their views on the age of the universe. Oh my goodness, this is next level stuff. Making a joke about wearing hats. These are the funniest jokes. Well, that is looking pretty good. The social relationships in this colony are going swimmingly. Well, mostly swimmingly, but let's just ignore that one. And hey, this is a great big mood buff for our colony. A couple other things I've tried to do here is just use this millstone to kind of pave out the way to our bedrooms just to make it look a little bit nicer with some of these lamps along the side. I've also got this grove of trees growing nicely here. We might even just leave this up growing. It's so beautiful to behold. I really just did this as a cosmetic thing. And we're also flooring these towers in the front to just make them a little bit more, let's say, developed. I think this is all coming together really nicely. This is unlike any of the other Rimworld fortresses I've created in the past, and it feels really special. Even with the river flowing, it just seems to fit with it all so organically. It's like something that came straight up out of the earth. But maybe that's enough complimenting myself for now. Let's move on and do a little bit more of it. And we've got another raid coming right here. I've equipped everyone with bows as much as I can, and you can kind of start to see this embrasure strategy working. So, okay, we've actually got one colonist that looks half decent from this whole group. Val is his name. So he is an industrious psychopath. Psychopath is a fantastic trait in many ways, and industrious is, of course, obviously a good thing. Incapable of cleaning, hauling, and plant work, but his other skills are just incredible. The shooting, the melee, the intellectual especially. So I think he'll fit right into our colony, and he is, most importantly, not going to die based on his wounds, so we will try to capture him. Now, we don't really have too many other options here, but we already had this other bedroom since we're now sharing so many beds, so I think we'll just hold him up in here and make him pretty comfortable. Now we're just going to set him to recruit. We want to get him on our side, and his resistance is only 7, so that shouldn't take too long to bring him down. And amazing, you know, being picky early on has started to pay off. We're getting another wanderer, a hermit named Crab. That is such a really, oh my gosh, that's actually really funny. That is one of the best names I have ever seen in Rimworld. Crab, who are you? Are you worth keeping? Oh, not too bad. Intellectual, double passion, 7. Ascetic, plants, 9. Yes, you can absolutely join Crab. Hermit Crab, welcome. Hoo-ha. Oh my god, your name is Crab and you're a hermit? What the? Alright, we're going to rename, but that is pretty funny. Alright, I've chosen a little bit more of a thematic name for Crab. This is Talia. Meet Talia. She's actually a decent crafter too in medical. She's got a lot of good select skills that'll work here. In the meantime, we've got all of our towers pretty much floored off, so this maybe prevents more of the spread and transmission of dirt, which is always important, but perhaps even more important is going to increase walk speed in the towers, which lets us go all around our fortress and kind of take the inside on enemies as they revolve around our base, trying to get to the front entrance, and we can shoot them from there. And we've just done enough to decrease Val's resistance to 0, so we're just about ready for recruitment attempts here. It looks like Alaric is going in to try to get his final word with Val right now, and if we just speed up time a little bit, he is trying to make friendly with him, and he is recruited social level 4 as well. Welcome in, Val. Step by step, everything is beginning to improve, and all these subtle changes, the little decisions by the AI add up to something that looks organic. Under the hood, though, it's a kaleidoscope of heuristics all bound together to achieve something that feels so much more than the sum of its parts. Like peering up close at the bifurcations of the stem of a plant blossoming into a mess of leaves that looks, at first, unassuming, but upon further inspection yields the brilliance of what seems to be a hive mind within. And I just wanted to show this still of our base as it's getting kind of late and it turns to nighttime. I've now installed lamps all over the paths, and I just think that it looks really good. The lighting in the night, it's just... Well, none of my Rimworld fortresses up till this point has quite honestly looked so good, if I do say so myself. Alright, the next task here is to start working on the slate side walls. Now, these are no ordinary walls. These are castle walls. They have just a little bit more HP, but they're very expensive to get working on. We need 15 slate blocks, and they require just a lot of work to make them. I'll eventually roof all this, so it's kind of a nice passageway for them all to just run around in, but this is a major undertaking, and it's taking a long time to get all the way around the fortress, but once it's done, it's pretty much secure forever, so that's the good news. And I'm going to get bad karma for this, but I don't like these wild people just wandering around inside of our base anymore, so I'm shooting them and sending them to the next life. Goodbye, Tail. I hope it gets better for you in the next life. Goodbye. Oh my goodness, she really stood up to those arrows for such a long time. And wow, just to highlight how long that takes, we're just finishing off with this wall now. This is a major undertaking. Now, my next task here, just sort of a minor cosmetic thing, but I've decided to uproot some of these oak trees right here, and we're going to kind of arrange these in a pattern here at the front, just so that we have a little bit of kind of standing scenery. I mean, nature gets a little bit of beauty, which is nice here, so we'll try to plant those in a way that just looks, I don't know, a little bit more fetching maybe. Here we go, we've just got one tree out there, and we can plant that maybe right around here. I've also got a few here on the corners just to kind of make everything look a little bit more planned and beautiful. Alright, we are getting our first raid from what appear to be these major knights. A little bit scary looking, or more so than the first ones, from House Hessa. You have like a full helm and a pretty royal looking gear. We've also got a, well, a crossbow over there. This is just going to be a slightly spicier fight. Alright, and we are just about arranged for battle. I'm actually going to reposition everyone in the side tower over here because we have a couple of enemy rangers coming by, and if we could just take them down before any of their melee fighters come in, we're actually fine to deal with them, but amazing, we've isolated just a few of the enemy knights, and we are taking them down one by one. Okay, and we are just riddling them with arrows in this hallway before they can even get through. They're just stuck, stepping over their own men. We've got a couple here to get past, but I think we can rout them if we have enough time right here, and amazing. Just a couple more here, kind of stuck in the hallway. And, okay, we've managed to get them to flee. Well, not all of them. We've still got one guy just... Oh, God, he's taking down the beer brewing. Like, of all the stupid things to pick, man. It's too bad we couldn't get any of those sweet hats off of those guys before they became tainted. Look at that. Steel Zweihander helm. Honestly, a pretty good-looking helm with... I believe it has some social impact there. It is very dapper. Maybe almost as much as a fedora. Anyway, let's go back out here. We've got pretty much the rest of our walls planned. We are going to build some extra towers here on the outside so that as enemies come by, we can pew them from farther away, and maybe even here on the diagonals, but hopefully we'll get in just a couple of pot shots at our foes before they get to us. So here's the plan. It's going to take a little while to build it out, but if we get started, well, we'll have a couple more opportunities to shoot our enemies. Alright, we've done a lot of work. I still don't have the actual hallway complete, but I've planned some torches here, and hopefully we'll get a roof up over this part, because we are just about getting this hallway. I want it all to be kind of contained like this, but obviously with a roof overhead. Just a little bit more to construct over here, and then we'll be finished. And in the meantime, we did capture this one prisoner named Bose? I don't really know how to pronounce. However, a pretty good colonist. Only pretty, but that's perfect as is, and also some good passions here, so we will convert this prisoner. Right now we've got 11.9 left to go. Okay, I've fast forwarded a lot in time here just because it's just a ton of slate construction, but we're finally at the 14th of April, May. Now, 3 years into our expedition, and we have finally completed the wall. This is quite a lot, but I think that the new torches look really good, and this is probably the most attractive looking base I've ever made. Not gonna lie, my bases aren't this good usually, but I am proud of myself. I deserve this. And we are coming to an incredible moment in the colony. I actually forgot to mention this, but Alaric and Bryn are getting married. They have actually gotten along pretty well up until this point, so we are attending the ceremony in our grand hall, which is now very impressive. And the whole bunch is here. We are arranged for the ceremony. Can you feel the love tonight? Oh my goodness, this is one of the most romantic moments I have ever beheld with my eyes. I am afraid that I may cry for how simply touching this moment is. You love to see it. Well, everyone is celebrating now, and they should be getting an incredible mood boost. Basically to 100%. Oh my gosh, that is so many positive moodlets. Amazing. We have so much happiness in the colony. Honestly, relationships have pretty much carried this colony as it is, and there's no stopping it. We've also just got a game of cup and dice over here, as well as a chess table to fit with our medieval theme for the festivities at the wedding day. Alright, the next thing I've done, I've just taken our colonist Val and I've renamed him Terran. I just think that it's a slightly more medieval sounding name. Once again, the industrious psychopath. And there he goes, studying on his research right here. We're about to get to complex workshops, so just a little bit more building up of our technologies. Next, you might notice in our stockpile, we've actually built up 1,755 cotton. That's quite a lot. The next thing we want to start to do is start to spin that into cloth. So for our research here, well, there's quite a lot still left to be done, but I think we'll do textile spinning. This way we can get a spinning wheel for cloth and eventually linen, so we can start to maybe build out some carpets and better material for clothing. You know, in Rimworld, it's so many industries to keep track of, but before you really understand them all, the ingenuity of it all, the hierarchies of resource dependency, the logistics chains, lay in the flow of discovery all those brilliant little pathways toward higher tech, even in this rustic era of medieval craftsmanship to begin with. I know Talia is being hunted by a bear, but I think we can down the bear if we just go at it with some of our ranged colonists. Run, Talia. This is a dangerous moment. And keep running. That bear is about to go down. Good, we have confused the bear, and we have conquered nature. Amazing. I've also just left one gate here in our entrance to hopefully confuse raiders slightly less. It's helpful when they just come straight in so that we get a good shot at them before they kind of throw themselves at the gate and try to break in. On top of that, we also have a buildup of all of our new clothing and armor, as well as all of our weapon options over here. We might start to smelt some of these down, but right now I think they just look pretty good in our armory. Next, along with all the vanilla expanded medieval, I've incorporated these wooden note stacks, as well as these research boards to slightly increase the research speed at these nearby research benches. So it seems to total only about 5%, but hey, at least that's better than nothing, and that's bring up their speed just slightly here. Look, it's going so fast now. And finally, we've got textile spinning research. So we are about to build this incredible spinning wheel. Now, we can add bills to this to take all of our cotton and spin it, or, well, spin it into cloth. So spin cotton times 50. And we'll do this until we have, I don't know, a few hundred. It doesn't really matter. Basic cotton isn't really as useful as the cloth, I suppose. So we could just do more or less all of it. Now, we still don't have carpet making, but that's one of the next researches on our agenda. And that'll allow us to make our royal hall look even better. As you can see, our wealth has started to climb, but it is kind of a slow climb in medieval Rimworld. And we've got another big raid. This one's a lot of rabble this this time. There's so many people coming for us. These are brigands from the Alliance of Caesar, just not really our standard knights from before. These people are pretty weak. And Alinor's a wimp has been taken down, not really a surprise, but we managed to stay in the embrasures long enough. No, don't go out yet, that's not so great. Oh, that was just so many attackers, maybe even more than we were ready for. I don't think that she lost anything irreplaceable, though, so it's just because she doesn't have a very good pain threshold then. And this is quite terrible. I didn't realize when this happened, but Silas has lost his left kidney. What was it in anyway? A stab wound punctured by Doofer's hunting bow arrow. That is a shame. Well, that'll lower his blood filtration significantly, but he can live with one, so he should be, I guess, okay. And, well, speaking of kidneys, we are about to get a pantry going right here so that we can store, well, maybe someone else's kidneys, among other things. I've opted for this kind of rounded corner structure to the building, and even though that it's not as good for absolute storage, I just think that it looks a little bit better, and I've been waiting to get a bit of variation here. Now, this is kind of a fridge. Maybe eventually we'll add some type of cooling into this structure if it's possible, but for right now, it's just nice to have a separate structure off, starting to just look a little bit more attractive to the eye. I just love this blueprint layout, and wow, it actually looks really pretty in the night with all of those fires raging on, knowing especially that we're protected from them from the inside. And amazing, I just love filming the construction process, and perfect. Amazing, we are just getting roofed on, and after the last few of these shelves, our pantry is complete. Now I can use it to store food, corn, and hay, and anything else we've got lying around that's edible. The next research, we have just finished our carpet making, so we can start to replace these rustic wood floors with something a little bit more modern and insulating. And over here we continue to path all the highways and byways on our main route here for improving foot traffic around the rest of the colony. And when you zoom out, it's starting to take a whole new form from above, a brand or something that's more than what we started with as a single man. The mine's plan realized and laid out in bold colors and flourishes that proclaims the vision of its own existence. On top of all that, I just wanted to zoom out here. It really looks good to see our fields planted. Everything is up and growing, and it just feels great and organized, and it oozes agriculture. Amazing. I feel so good with something in the ground. Plow, my people. And amazing, Bose has joined our faction. We have a new recruit. As far as Bose goes, pretty. I mean, that will make other colonists like her better, so that is, I suppose, helpful. But yeah, the intellectual should be pretty good here. Probably needs a new name. But before any of that, we've got a party being thrown in the throne room. Alinor is throwing a party. Everyone who goes will gain recreation and social energy and a lasting positive mood boost. You might also notice I've just replaced all of our wood floors with this carpet. I think that this nice deep red shade just looks really good. It almost looks like a symbol for something. It isn't. It's just a shape that, well, it looks like it could be like our faction crest. I am just realizing that there is somehow a bear in attendance at the ceremony. Oh, this is not just any bear, this is our bear. When did we get a bear? A 17-year-old bear, my god. Party over when the bear leaves, of course. Alright, well, amazing. I'm really liking the way that this colony is turning out just overhead. It looks something beautiful. Like the type of thing you'd see in a children's book, like a layout of a castle of an ancient city that existed. I just think it looks really pretty. And you know, it's all in the details. I've tried to just bring out a couple of different floor types in stone, indoor and outdoor. Not patting myself on the back too much here, but, well, hats off to the vanilla expanded modders. The extra tile types for all of the marble and sandstone floor patterns, etc. just look really amazing here. Also, quick shout out to the majestic foliage and all of the accompanying mod packs with the retextures. I just think that this makes the game look a lot better, and I think that these larger trees have just added up to making everything look a lot more beautiful in the game world. There's something just so utterly satisfying about time lapses that never existed before photography. No one ever saw the world or the passing of time in the way quite like this before. The real story behind the turning of day to night, night to day, and the passing of the seasons. Washing all just like waves on a shore. Alright, the next project is to just thicken out these outer walls and make them into definitive passageways. The idea here is to shoot from each of these positions, then run along, and then shoot them again, just so that we get a lot of surface area before any of that happens. But I just think that they look really nice as it is right now. If we zoom out, look at that. Okay, the next thing, apparently I still had some tattered apparel lying around, even with everyone in worker clothes, so we're just gonna go ahead and take our clothing policies right here, and I guess I hadn't done this. I must have changed at some point. Anyway, worker is gonna be back at 51 to 100, and we'll just try to always keep that around. Now, I'm noticing that our colony is looking extremely filthy. There's vomit, blood, and trash all over the floor. So we're actually going to go ahead here and we're going to take Bryn, who is a jogger, and we will make her into a primary cleaner because she is the fastest moving of our colonists. So she's hopefully going to at least get everything looking a little bit better. This is important to me when we have maybe around, I don't know, 8 colonists or so. It's not really an essential task, but it just kind of clears everything, and I don't like it for YouTube when everything looks dirty. Just so satisfying to see all of that get cleaned up. Alright, we've also got some rabid timber wolves here. Now, this is nice because we can actually hunt these from within for some, well, we can already see we're getting free shooting experience here because we're not really in any danger whatsoever, but we can just kind of keep chasing them around, see as they come over, and we might not catch up to them here, but with this river crossing, actually, I think we are going to get behind them. Look, here we go. We're going to get another pot shot at these wolves. Look at that. We are just farming these wolves for XP. That feels so good. I mean, I feel sorry for them for being rabid, but it only gets worse for them from here, so it's better to just end it. Now, I've also taken Bose and I've renamed her Evelyn because, well, I just think, honestly, it sounds a little bit more thematic. So, Evelyn, welcome to the colony. Hoo-ha! Alright, while it is safe to stay inside and use our ranged combat and warfare to shoot enemies, we still need some sort of armor. So I'm thinking that the very next thing we should be getting is chain armor and plate armor, which are quite a lot of work to research. But hey, this will at least get us a lot more protection when we do fight enemies. With armets, we get full plate armor. I think we get, yeah, heavy plate armor and also boots, which is very nice to have on. Next, you really love to see this. We are being attacked by a mass raid of peasants from the Caribou clan. Look at them go. It's so many of them, and they're all about to meet their maker. They're above all very poor. Alright, we are in a fight for our lives with peasants. Let's get that guy with the throwing axes. Also, these two guys are looking pretty dangerous and unstoppable right now. Just no one die, no one die. And Eleanor is down. That's okay, she's a wimp. She will survive. Alright, I've decided to keep everyone around in full armor more often simply because we just didn't have time to change into anything. And look, we're already losing things. I mean, we've lost already Bryn's ear, as well as now we're getting scars from things, which is adding to the pain. Silas had his left kidney destroyed. Fortunately, nothing else crazy. We've gotten lucky there, but I'm going to change this front entrance. You know, when colonists get hurt, there's just something so utterly human that drags me deeper into the roleplay of what Rimworld is when you get a scar, a lost body part. No matter how small or insignificant, you wish you could take it back. But maybe that's just the emotions that keep me coming back to what ultimately amounts to a story of imperfect survival. I think we're actually offering raiders too much space. We're going to narrow the passageway and put a few more wall sections here, a little bit here, and then a little bit in here so that they can't actually hit us. This way, we'll be able to stack 3 or 4 people at a time against maybe 1 or 2 attackers at once. And this will give us a very unfair ratio, which is exactly what I'm looking to do. We want to make the fight unfair on our own territory, in our favor. And also, too, now, if you may notice, the outer walls are done. I think that this looks really amazing. This is maybe my favorite base I've ever made up until this point. I think, except for maybe the Arctic colony. But this one is still pretty good. And this is maybe one of the most satisfying moments. Now, we have so many crap weapons lying around. Just look at all of them in our armory that we've picked off of all of the terrible peasants. We are going to take these all and smelt them in our sandstone furnace, and then maybe get some better materials out of them. Anything of even up to, let's say, normal quality. We want really high quality on our weapons, because look, there's just so much here, and it's only adding to our wealth, which is making raids worse, so I figure why not start there. I've also revised my passageway. Now, you can't see through here because these are not embrasures, these are castle walls, but you could see through here if we wanted to hit enemies from here or here, and we could hit them in this section and have good coverage. I'm just trying to give us a little bit more blocking for any enemies that might come in, and if they have any ranged units. And there we go, a little bit floored up and perfect. You can also see that our industries are working. We're spinning turning cotton into cloth over here, which is going to be useful in all kinds of tailored clothing and more carpets if we want them later on. In addition to all of this, I have improved our recreational options with smoke leaf. We are making smoke leaf from our crops over here, and we are going to be putting in a shelf hopefully soon. Now we've got beer here. We don't have any beer at the moment, but we will soon, as well as smoke leaf and just other options for our colonists in their extremely impressive now gathering room, which is amazing. Now, as we smelt these down, we're starting to get iron out of these, but if we do manage to get a steel weapon here or there, that one wasn't steel, but a couple of these were steel. We're gathering up steel ingots. And if we look over here on the UI for our resources, 46 steel ingots. Now, we just need a few more. It's around 80 steel ingots if we want to create this sandstone smelter. A tricky building to create because it requires steel in order to make steel, so we need the weapons for that. Is this a steel sword? Yeah, we're getting a steel noble sword. Let's see what we get out of this, and that is, we're going up from 39 to 58, so we're getting much closer. And we've just gathered up those 80 steel ingots and the 120 sandstone blocks, and we are getting ready. Eleanor is constructing our sandstone smelter. Okay, complete. And we have contents. This is just all of our processes as they occur. Now, we are making iron ore into iron ingots currently, but we can also take some of those iron ingots and put them in to make steel ingots. So we'll probably do that in a moment. We're just fueling it up, but now that we're fueled and ready to go, we can start to create our own steel from scratch. And there goes in, well, that's iron right now, but we'll process more in a moment. We can't afford another one yet. And here we go, it's running, 12% complete and progressing. All right, we've got all that up and working. We're now up to 174 steel, and we've got iron going in to make steel. So this is going to be useful for our armors, so that we have the hardest and the strongest of armors. And we are getting rid of the last of these just terrible, terrible iron butcher's cleavers and other crude weaponry. And we're going to replace all of that with our better, more refined armors. Now, the only qualified crafter we have in our faction is Talia, and she has a single burning passion. She started off around 5. She's now progressed to level 6, but we need to get her to a higher level if we want to manufacture anything, well, meaningfully good at all. So right now we're just making a bunch of terrible hunting bows, and we'll put these in the other room as she gains some skill, because, well, it's pretty worthless materials. It's just wood planks in here, but that requires crafting 5, so hey, at least that's a way to skill up. A little bit of time has passed. We've created a few different bows, some of these just of various quality right here, and Talia is at crafting 6 now, so we're just leveling up closer to 7. All right, finally, we have the crafting skill we need to start working with iron and steel. So Talia's reached crafting level 7, and this is enough to make some steel plate gloves. So plate gloves are really good. This is going to be defense for our hands and hopefully our feet. We've got boots coming up too. Although some of these require quite a lot of crafting skill, 10 for boots. Although gloves required only level 7, so that's a grind right now. Armits, the helmets, require crafting 12, so that's quite a grind to get up there. But heavy plate armor is only crafting 9, so we've got quite a variety of these to do, but this is going to give us just a lot of room to start crafting and runway for experience. And, okay, we've got one set of gloves ready. What quality did we get, may I ask? We've gotten normal quality. Yay! Praise for normal quality. And we finally managed to get some beer up and running. I really like these new beer sprites so that we have these like wooden tankards for the beer, and we are enjoying these in the hall. So now our colonists will all get a good mood buff from that. Look, everything's grown in so nicely. We've got hops in here. Now these hops are still not doing too particularly well in here. They've got only 29 days, but I think that's enough, and as long as it doesn't overheat in here, the fermentation process should go more or less okay, so that gives us lots of delicious beer for the consumption thereof. And that has good it never expires, it never goes bad, so we can just keep that around there. The water is unsafe to drink. And along with that, I've just made a little bit of space here for our smoke leaf, and I'm going to check our policies right here. If we check everything. Now, this is just a little bit riskier, so we're going to do this once every 2 days, and only if mood is below 30%. I'm not a huge fan of smoke leaf because it slows down your colonists. I would rather use Psychite tea, but hey, this works for now. It's a little bit lower effort. Beer is pretty much fine every day, even at a higher mood. I mean, it's medieval times. What else are they gonna do? And this one is pretty spicy. We've got a Mega Sloth pack roaming the region in terror. So now this is actually a pretty easy opportunity to just get a lot of shooting experience. Let's bring everyone back behind our walls and we can take these out one by one. So we've got to the wall before they get there, and hopefully these arrows will just slow them down. Let's bring Bryn over here. We've got a few people coming in behind the wall because these guys just might not make it right now as it stands. Oh my goodness, will they make it in on time? And it looks like everyone is just about safe. What a heartwarming ending to this story this has become. Let's head inward and don't let that one oh no, that Mega Sloth is about to get in. We came so close here, but if we all gang up on this one Mega Sloth, I think we can do it, folks. No one died. Wow, I feel so lucky. All right, and the rest we can just hit from without. Unfortunately, they got through that gate. We were so fastidious in our tasks that we nearly died, and we were spared this day. I feel so good. I have conquered you and your brethren. Next, since I noticed that it took a while to respond to that last thread, I'm tiling these side passageways, not only for beauty, but also just for walk speed right here. And we are using this incredible looking Versailles tile. Isn't it great? When we zoom out, it just contrasts so nicely, the cool and the warmth. I really like this. And perhaps most importantly, that is walk speed 100%. Now, we've got an ancient troll wandering the region, but what I sense is an opportunity to get some shooting experience here. Now, we are going to observe a terrible and great property of these ancient trolls. If we shoot them from without, except for Hilda. Hilda, you stay in the base. Now, these behave like animals, so it's probably going to move toward our gate. See how much more quickly we can move here down our side passageway. He's stuck in the water. He's coming around. He's probably going to head over to the front gate. But if we just keep shooting him, look at his remarkable regeneration. We shoot him right now, and he's already recovered from each of these hits. We leave him for a few seconds. Boom, he's recovered. He's recovering even from the heavy bleeding wounds. So if we follow him right here, I mean, by the time that we've arrived at the front gate, he's already recovered from these wounds. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? This is basically free shooting experience, so we're just going to slam this man with arrows until we become extremely Legolas-like marksmen, and we can shoot anyone from afar or near. Look at my archers go. They're gaining so much experience by the second without being in any danger whatsoever. Of course, there will be troll blood everywhere, but hey, I mean, if we just keep doing this, we might get an angry guardian troll in front of our house. Of course, we can't leave the house, but well, maybe we'd be better off without. Look at him. This man's blood is the cure. It's just quite remarkable how quickly this troll recovers. We will never do any damage to him. I'm going to go to bed. We've got the max experience for the day. We'll do it again tomorrow. Oh no, unfortunately, this troll has decided to attack some of our visitors. We'll see how he holds up in melee combat. And quite honestly, he appears to be holding up very well in melee combat. Even better than he did when we were all shooting him from a window. He's 736 years old, and he is very healthy. There goes another one. And what is he doing to these men? This man had a bad back, and he's stabbing him with his troll tusks. Look at him go. Oh no, the members of House Amboys are not too happy that everyone died to a troll right at our front door. Well, hate to see you go, but honestly, with a name like Cake, I gotta say, maybe you had this one coming. Oh no, Cake won't even get away. He will die to the troll. It's sad. Look at this man carrying around ambrosia and bread. What an addict. Well, there are advantages to having a troll at your front door. Eventually he'll probably go on though. But hey, for right now, pretty useful. Stay away from there. We have to restrict zones. Alright, we've had enough with our work clothes for a while. Now, these are better for speed, but I've opted to keep everyone in soldier gear, because just, even if I speed up to 3x speed, look at how long it takes them to put on all of their armor. Finally, they're all armored up, but it takes a minute, and in that time, a raid could come. We're getting another raid, this time by Neanderthals, and it's quite a lot of them. Not very well armored, but these people are quite hardy. They will not go down unless if you hit them many, many times. So let's see what we can do to them. Fortunately, despite all of their strength, they are pretty much just melee. Yeah, they are all melee fighters, so they will be no match to our bows and arrows here. Wow, look, we're actually getting quite a lot of them there. Now, we probably want to reposition down pretty quick here to reposition this entire group, and we can just get, actually, we could probably get them as they're crossing over this river, and they have no cover there either. That is great. Look at that. Look at them go. Right, nice. We can get them all even before they get up to the front entrance. Here
Here we go. Just one more pot shot, and we're pretty much already done with this fight even before they've got here. And then even when they get through all of that, we can just take them at this point. Look, any that don't get to the front gate are just stuck fighting us right here. This is amazing. They can't even touch us. And it looks like this attack is pretty much over. They hardly even ever stood a chance. They got right up to the gate, though. This is exactly what this medieval defense does well. It doesn't matter how many of them there are, we're always going to be able to outnumber them the way we've built this out. And after all that, we've got a wanderer joining named Latch. So let's see. A smuggler named Latch has arrived and wants to join the colony. Well, let's see. Who is this person? Who are you? Latch. Welcome, Latch. You are pretty good. Iron-willed and a couple of devil passions. Amazing. You will fit right in. Female, age 31. Baseliner. I think, however, probably a much better name is Orla. This just sounds much more old-timey and nice. So, hoo-ha, Orla, welcome to the clan. And in the meantime, we've got her rooms up and constructed. We've got lots of rooms still, and this is shaping up quite nicely. I like the way it looks. On top of all that, we're starting to hit higher crafting traits. We are now at level 9 in crafting skill with Talia, so she's just about ready to produce more and more advanced equipment that we'll need for armor. Now, with all this metal working, we're going to need more resources, but we do have iron ore out here on these cliff sides, as well as coal to kind of power all of our smelters and everything like that. Now, haven't found any steel right here, so we're going to have to take the iron and, I mean, I guess we don't have components or a lot of the other spacer technologies in Rimworld that we're known for, but there's a few other locations, like here, Bone, for example. There are a numery of other resources around, so we'll use some of that, get that out of the earth, and get it smelting. And we are being raided once again by the Caribou clan, the sinister evildoers. We need to prepare for this fight. They are armed with ranged goods. It's time to get everyone armed up and ready to go. Alright, similar to last time, we took a little bit of wounding here. Avalyn took great bow cut. Just a lot of great bows right here, but mostly crude weaponry. We had on enough armor. We couldn't get Alaric and Silas, but Alaric's also got cut by a great bow. Orla not doing too well. The throwing axes make me a bit nervous. No one really to get here. They are just sort of okay. Abrasive, Gourmand, no thank you. Ascetic, actually not bad, but I think we're doing pretty well with the number of colonists we've got right now. I don't necessarily need another. But speaking of which, it's a bit too long of a trek here over these fields to get to some place safe to rest, so we need to take care of that next. Alright, so I've sketched it out. This is going to be our infirmary. We'll make it of marble, and we'll put a few of these wicker wooden beds inside so that if anyone gets hurt in combat, they can just come right in here for healing. Alright, everything is just about ready. We've got the floor laid out and torches equipped. And we've also had some Angus join. Everybody loves to see some new Angus around. They are currently roped to our caravan hitching spot and just eating the plants that we didn't intend for them to, but we should probably use this area up here for a pen. I've kept some nature intentionally just so that we can use that for pasturing, so I'm going to take care of that next. Okay, just had a chance to kind of lay this out with a pen marker right here to designate for our Angus. And amazing, we are just roping these Angus in and bringing them to their new home. Welcome Angus 1 and 2 to the new pen. Hoo-ha! Sleep soundly while you can. And next it's on to boots. We've made a good pair of, I believe it's steel boots right here. Or iron did we get? I'm not even sure what we're doing anymore. Iron plate boots. Well, good enough. We have lots of iron lying around. I'd prefer steel. But Talia has got very fastidiously off to work. We've got a little bit more left to do, but she's now crafting 10 and making lots of new armor. So I gotta say, it's satisfying in medieval Rimworld to just get to later game technologies without so much grinding. It's almost like it's all already there for you, rather than all of this gene editing. Just a little bit more of a low-tech playthrough. It's nice for a change of pace. Finally, not just the industries, but the products of those industries have amounted to all the supplies we need to at last improve our lives beyond our standing. The research, its workshops, and finally, the products of painstaking labor realized at last. The fulfillment of all our visions up till now. And we've got yet another raid from House Hesse right here. These are a lot of knights. We're starting to deal with greater threats, but everyone's asleep. Let's get ourselves prepared. We gotta get back on our gear. We will just assign to soldier and send everyone off to grab that gear before it's too late. Cool, we're all armored up now, and I love to see this. We really get a solid swing at these raiders. On the top, we're going to get them in the middle, and then all the way when they get back down to the front gate. We just want to keep these doors open, too, so that we can run back and forth quickly. Here we go, we're getting a lot of good... Look, we already downed 2 guys. Amazing. Now we run down the hallway. It'll be even faster when we get down here because of the Versailles tile, but hey, it's good for now. There goes another one, and another. And now at last we've taken out maybe one more right here. He's not armored. Look at that. Through fortress design alone, we've taken out half of these invaders before they even got to our main gate. Look, and that last guy's finally getting there. Just feels great. You love to see it. And we've routed yet another. Man, we took out half of those guys even before they got to our gate. And we've got another one. It's a peasant raid. They've got a couple of bows, but these ones... did they come in from another side? I guess this was just a smaller one. This was like one right after the other here. Not too bad, but just wild people. Very weak. Oh, here come their reinforcements now. Yep, that's the rest of the peasants over there. Well, we'll try to outnumber them right over here. See, now they've gotten up to the front gate, but if we just simply stand here, we outnumber this one 9-1. That's such a huge advantage. But we do have to get a little bit further down here. Let's get 6 over there. We got to get out those bowmen, and this should be pretty quick and easy. And cool, another raid down. All right, with another battle over, we've got another wanderer joining, Brendan, but he's just terrible. So we are going to banish him and hate to see you go. Hope it gets better for you. Just kidding. Honestly, I hope it gets worse for you, Brendan. You are useless and stay away. Be better. Right, at long last, we're getting a merchant in. This is nice. Oh my goodness, look at this merchant's incredible hogs. A Gloucestershire. Wow. A truly splendid animal to lay one's eyes upon. Might be nice to just get a little bit more exotic goods. Here we've got quite a lot of surpluses. Surply? I guess surpluses, whatever. Well, that's more than enough smoke leaf leaves for a long time to come, I think. We can get some money out of this. Oh, this is great. This merchant actually is carrying ice. We haven't got any ice here. I didn't realize that traders carry this around with them. We just haven't taken advantage of a cold snap yet, but this is useful for preserving some of our food. We can keep it in an ice cellar and store it. That's why we built it earlier, but we will take this. It's only 33, but hey, it's going to be the start of something new, so I'm very excited about this futuristic ice entering our lives. All right, now this ice does actually melt if we just leave it there, so we've got to get this stored. It's fine to store it right here, because even though that it's 56 degrees, if we go underground, it'll be isolated enough that it will last. So this was an ice cellar. This would last a little bit longer, but yeah, it is completely preserved in there right now, underground, technically. But hey, that's a little something that we haven't expanded upon yet, because we just haven't done any real refrigeration, and it is possible here. Fortune smiles upon us this day, for Angus 1 has given birth to Angus Calf 1. Hoo-ha, welcome to the world, Angus Calf 1. You can tell, maybe even just by the looks on their faces, how much love these Anguses have to give. Amazing. Now, here's one we hadn't worked on in a while. We are about to construct a well out of slate, and this will help us buoy up some water from underground. Now, we've got water skins right here. We've been going to the river right here to fetch it at the water gathering spot, but this is just a nice way to bring it a little bit inward. And it does take a lot of work, but at last, it is complete. Amazing. Now we can fetch water from the well. Now, what's a medieval playthrough without teching up beyond our normal medieval capabilities? So we've got a wooden drying rack, as well as a couple of tanning racks going up so that we can process all the hides and all of the other meats that we've brought in. So far, we haven't really managed to preserve anything beyond just corn and rice. Now, these do last a long time in storage, but if we dry out the meat, it will last a much longer time in storage. And seeing as a lot of us are good archers, we might be able to get some cooking done. Hey, it's an insurance policy in case if anything goes wrong with crops. And with all that, we have our smoking of meat complete. Soon we'll be smoking these meats almost like Zuck. We are smoking meats. We have completed the meat smoking research, and we are now able to smoke and tan, do a variety of preservation tasks. Because currently, meat lasts for only maybe a day or so before it spoils. But, well, we do have also milk, which lasts just a little bit longer. But all of this has added up to a slightly better meal-making industry. Now we can make finer meals, too. We'll get on that in a bit. And this is really satisfying. We've now got some meat up on the drying rack that's going to preserve it, as well as some of these hide racks to make it into leather, and everything is looking nice and ready. Alongside that, I've just wanted to make our side towers a little bit more
towery. So I have added on a couple last pieces over here, so this is just getting built up. And it looks like our meat has been nice and dried out. It has now got 60 days that it'll last on this shelf, so not too bad. And the smoked meat lasts for 30 days. Delicious smoked meat, amazing. But still, none of this is refrigerated. The next piece here is to make this dining room that I've planned out. So I'm going to put a lot of entrances and exits all around this thing so that people can get in and out very quickly. I have had my colonists just standing in the storeroom to eat, and they don't really go to a table. They tend not to bring it all the way over to our rec room, so if we put it a little bit closer, maybe that'll incentivize them to sit down with a nice meal. We're just getting work done on that. And with all that, our dining room is complete. I've added in some marble Versailles tiles and a centered blue carpet. I just think that it contrasts nicely with our main room, and that just looks a little bit more, like, wealthy from the outside. We've also got these fine meals now, because we have so much meat to choose from in our meal creation, and, well, why not live it up a little bit? And a momentous occasion has arrived. Alaric has reached construction level 20, which it's taken him long enough, but now he is perfect in every way. Now we come to the later stages of our advancement. The structures, the workflows are all set. What lies next is just the further leveraging of our current capabilities. Something quiet, but still powerful and felt on our colony. Now we've got a lot of industries going, but the next one I think will be presser for, well, we can make cheese, but maybe more importantly, paper press. Now that we have defenses done and everything kind of outlined in our fortress, it would be nice if we could have an alternate recreational activity in our hall, do a little bit of reading. So we're going to write some books. All right, it's taken a little while to get all of these processes researched, but we finally got our wooden paper press going. So this contains paper mixture in here. Paper mixture is kind of annoying to create, and it was done at our workbench. Paper mixture, let me see, so this is sort of a weird one, but you need timber, you need like raw wood or planks to make this happen. So you put wood in, you mix it up, and then you press that into paper. Sort of a crude process, but here we go. We have paper mixture over here, which just sort of looks like paste in a bucket, but it is what it is. Anyway, that is being pressed into paper, and then we will bring it to our scribe table, and we will use it to write each of these skill books, which our colonists can read, both for recreation and a little bit of skill. So kind of a cool thing, and just a way to compensate for the lack of tech in medieval time, I also believe. On top of that, we've got a couple of ovens here. So this slate rustic oven and this slate large oven, which is capable of producing 100 bread at a time, but for that we need wheat, so we've planted wheat in our fields. Now this is kind of a longer process, but hey, once it's done we can preserve the flour, which is pretty amazing to preserve. It lasts for like years on the shelf, even unrefrigerated, so another amazing bit of technology to add to our lives. And a very bad thing is about to happen. We are being raided by House Hesse once again. Here they are to destroy us and our way of life. We're just going to equip everyone in soldier gear once again. And this looks like a double raid from two positions. They're pretty well armored here too. I see a lot of plate armor. And we're still in process of making the best armor, but you can see we've got a few armet helmets right here and some full plate armor as well. Amazing. We're just getting a few pot shots on them, but for a lot of these guys, they're so well armored. Not that guy. He looked pretty well armored too. Alright, a little bit of melee fighting going on as well. Now, some of these guys have pole arms. We've got to be careful. Let's just stand back a little bit. And from here, they can't reach us behind the embrasures. This is safer. Okay, amazing. And a lot of them are just getting stuck behind the front guy in the hallway. Hilda is hurt, but not really badly injured. Alright, maybe we want to grab her back. We just want to be careful. And good, we've got them fleeing. Half of them fleeing. They did come in two groups, so the rest are going to stick around for a minute. And amazing, we've taken that one out. Hilda is safe. And we are looking all nice and armored and ready. We are strong. For the next thing, right over here, I have sketched out what is going to be a prison, ultimately. I just think it'd be nice to have a couple of cells that we could bring prisoners to. And honestly, we haven't done too much royal collection yet, but offering a prisoner is a little bit of honor, so that would be a nice thing to take up on. And it's also close to our main entrance, so that if anybody comes in, we could just bring them right off to bed and heal their wounds before they get really bad. And we're still working on that, but look over here, we've got a windmill now. I just really like that cool spinning graphic there, that's amazing. And we finally got enough paper to write a book. This is amazing. We can make a shooting treatise so that everyone gets a little bit better in bow combat next. And Alaric is writing his book on shooting. Is Alaric even... He has no passion for shooting, but, well, I guess he's pretty good at it at level 9. That's fine. I don't know if he's really the guy who should be writing the books. Backgammon without God. Good. And it's about shooting? What the hell? This well-written novel covers a gunsmith as he deliberately pursues a new kidney to replace his own diseased kidney. It is original and quirky, but the writing is excessively flowery. It's unclear exactly when the book was written. And, of course, it grants 312 experience per hour. I guess we're gonna need somebody else better writing the books, but, honestly, a masterpiece of modern literature. And there's so many more to go. God, what is this man writing now? He's going to write his intellectual treatise. Well, all that book writing is making me thirsty, so it's time to have a party. We're going in. Silas has thrown a party, and we have many more incredible books to choose from. What about these other books? Cat in the University. Good. Oh my goodness, we have to read them all. In this well-written novel, the writer Taryn paints a picture of his home planet. It is appealing to a certain type of reader, but has some glaring plot holes. Of course, 312 melee per hour. Reading this book would certainly make anyone want to punch someone, I suppose. Camaraderie, a little bit more of a abstract title. Okay, this well-written epic poem for shooting again covers a historian as he reads his flesh while seeking an apology for a past mistake. It is somewhat humorous from time to time, but the author constantly uses words inappropriately in an attempt to sound smart. Wow. Honestly, some of the most beautiful words that have ever been written about a book summary in the English language. I don't know about you, but I was completely moved by those descriptions. An amazing party, and it's over. And this is quite bad. We are being double rated right now. We have bandits in the upper right corner who are pretty horribly armed, and we have raiders from a different faction who are very well armed over here. So I've been trying to soften them up, except we're getting shot at. There just hasn't been time to put on our armor. I forgot to have everyone with their armor on, but they attacked immediately, and that wasn't so great. But anyway, look, this man is literally named Loser. Leave this world, sir. Right, well, hopefully they'll meet at the front gates. I'm going to leave a couple of these guys because they're coming in right away, and I hope it gets better for us. That man has a war bow. That's not great. I kind of just want to sit in the castle now, honestly. We should probably get on some armor. All right, we've been defending the gate here. We are just about to get one of the raids over with. Well, we took out many of their number, but the other people are just sort of, well, they're pursuing the other attackers, and they're just hitting them for no reason. Look, they're going after these better armored knights. That's just sad, but whatever. At least we can just hang out in our base. And we got the last of them to flee. That was annoying. We did get one prisoner from that fight, though. This is Phil with 2 L's, and he is a vengeful child and a loner, but he is tough, and you like to see that. He is into plants and shooting. Threatening. He has very little resistance, so we should be able to convert him over, but we still need that prison. It's still getting done, so we'll just leave Phil in here for now. And we finally just got that prison cell done. It's time to move Phil into a better bed over here. Oh, that's not really the one I intended, but whatever. I guess the entire enclosure is his bedroom. All right, the next technology we've got is this mine shaft I've ordered the construction of. Now with iron ingots, components, and planks, we should be able to start to mine for minerals deeper in the earth, which we've been lacking in some of these more precious metals, so this is nice to get done. And we just had to destroy some of the nearby siege gear in order to get components. There's so much of it on these maps, and now it is complete. We can start to go down into the earth to get some precious metals. Another exotic beast has entered the map. This time it is a 1,000-year-old lindworm. If we take this thing out, we can harvest its scales and organs and use them toward better armors and stuff like that. So I'm going to make some lindworm armor and maybe a lindworm steak for dinner. We have gathered to attack the lindworm, and don't go out to meet it. Do not do that. Stay in here. That is much safer. Now this doesn't have quite as good regen as the troll. I think it still has a little bit of it, but not anywhere near those inhuman troll levels. We could probably just fight it from here. No, it is trying to get to our front gate area. It's making another pass, and the lindworm lindworm is... It's not doing so well. We're going to have to shoot at it for a while, though. This thing's got a lot of health. Looks like it got that spike trap as well. Alright, we have slain the worm. Silas is going out to stab it in the chest, and you hate to see you go, lindworm. But now we can butcher that and use its scales for more material. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Look at the size of this lindworm. You would think that it's just walking, prancing right into the castle, but no. There's someone underneath the lindworm carrying up its huge body. Let's go, Hilda. Let's see what she gets from butchering. And... oh my gosh, that's a lot of meat. Do you think you would get an upset stomach from eating lindworm meat, or it would, like, give you extra hair on your chest? Probably turn into a lizard person. Now we come to that stage when all our advanced industries are buzzing, yielding returns on our investment. It's satisfying to watch it all happen, the reaping of bountiful harvests, all from those foundations that took us so long to painstakingly lay out. But in the end, stockpiles lasting for months, even years down the line. And our wheat is almost grown. I really love the way it looks when it's all ready. It's just this golden field of fertility right here, and it's almost there, and we're going to grind it down into flour for delicious bread. And we've got a dimming sky from what appears to be another darkening terror event. This is truly horrifying. Fortunately, there is not really anything that bad that comes out of it, but it does look pretty cool in the darkness, doesn't it? Oh, at last we've got somebody reading the books. Talia is reading one of our fantastic novels of splendiferousness. There are so many good-looking books here. Let's read maybe one more. Terran's Destruction of the Heart. This mediocre novel is written from the point of view of a thatcher as he rends his flesh while seeking the warmth and safety of home. It is focused on one interesting idea, but lacks any deep emotions. So it does seem as though each book has a certain level of quality that gives you a certain amount of XP per hour dependent on that, and also a max level. So, I mean, that is an interesting system. I like that. You might also notice we've got much better armor now. Just about everyone's walking around with a full helm and some plate armor or heavy plate armor, just in case of the event that we are attacked once again and need to spring to action. We're also getting some use out of this dining room as well, even for, like, recreational activities like drinking. That's nice. Alright, I've got a freeholder title here gained on Alaric from the Refugee Empire. Now, that's not really much. I'm not sure we'll go down this route anymore just because of the sheer amount of resources. I mean, scrounging up whatever we could, that was all that we could get. Freeholder is really not all that high. Let's just go jump to Alaric for a second. So he is a freeholder. There is a lot more to do. I just don't think we're ever going to get there. But hey, it's nice to have something so that he can maybe do some sort of meditation or something in our throne room where it just feels a little bit more legit. I mean, we've got the mine chef, we've got a couple ways here, but just the frequency with which these Empire people come around is... it would take a really long time, and I feel like our kingdom is pretty much there already. But hey, you know, title schmeidel. Let's go ahead and hunt some animals, because I think maybe a more kind of theatrical goal for the rest of this playthrough is to get Alaric all the way up to mastery in melee. I really want to see what we can get him to, because he has been like the Thane warrior. He is like Wolfgar, or he needs some better title. I think we need to give this man like some sort of anime training grind toward mastery. One Punch Man, essentially. Let's go after this Ibex Ram. That's also an acceptable opponent. I mean, it's going to take a lot, but hey, each swing of his sword is worth around 500 to around 1,000 experience. That's pretty great. I mean, hey, he is not really fighting anything particularly strong yet, but, well, he's not taking any damage at all either. That's pretty great. Alaric, since day one, has been our point of origin. It's just so satisfying to see it all come together with the full realization of our starting vision. Maybe now, at long last, the ascent to Warrior King and Thane. And I want to share this with you because this moment is really satisfying. We have just harvested our wheat. It lasts for so long, 2.5 years just as wheat alone, which we can put into our storeroom. So that will stay around for a while. But we've also got some flour being made in our windmill and another harvest coming in just moments from now. Oh, the bountiful harvest is so soothing to my eyes. Oh my goodness, this just looks so incredible. I love to see these fields getting harvested. It is truly amazing. Now, we've also got flour coming out of the windmill. Let's grab all of that. So 150 flour coming out, which the flour itself also lasts 1.5 years. So we could just store this in our stockpile pantry for a really long time. I guess if you waited, you could have, like,
4 years out of that, which is essentially forever. I mean, in terms of Rimworld medieval time. So we've basically got bread stored more or less forever, although the bread itself lasts maybe, I don't know, 7 to 10 days or so, right? On top of that, we've also got rations, so those last around a year and a half or more. We have another wanderer offering to join. This is Bliss, an Herbworld entrepreneur. Just ignore the title. Who are you? What kind of person? And, oh, pyromaniac. I'm thinking probably no, just because of the sheer amount of wood. Yeah, hate to see you go. All right, we've managed to finally recruit Phil. Now, he wasn't a joiner, but he was just a prisoner, so we forced him to join. Well, he'll like it, and we know him. He's the tough guy from before. Welcome, Phil. Hoo-ha! Alright, I've decided to rename this pawn Gwenna. I think I had thought that it was a he. It's actually a she. This is Gwenna. It's a nice old-timey name, and that will help us identify who she is. In the meantime, Talia is got her own ascetic bedroom right here, which this is now dull, and she will be very happy that it is austere. I've also just started to carve out some more of these paths to the back entryway. I've also planted a few trees just in some kind of scenic places to just make everything look a little bit more, I don't know, lived in or authentic. Some of these Anguses, though, I've had to slaughter because there are just too many of them and I'm hungry. All right, our next task is to take all of this hay we've harvested and we're going to dry it out. Just ignore the rainstorm. It'll dry eventually on this rack right here. Sometimes it just kind of pops up like that. Oh, there it is. Nice. So now you can really see it. It looks so nice and full, all of these bales, but that'll become straw and that'll be useful because the next thing we're going to create is an ice box in our fridge/freezer area. Now, if I open up the temperature overlay, it's not really much different in here. This is just a normal old room. But if we grab some of this ice, which we've got enough from all the traders that have come past here now, and if we put that into the ice box with straw, we might be able to refrigerate or even freeze the room. Now we come to that phase that almost seems anachronistic. Something maybe even pushing beyond the bounds of our medieval technology. An experiment that pushes the line. Refrigeration, even freezing. Like the steam engines of ancient Rome. Bold ideas, all beyond what we thought we could, or maybe even should do. Here it is, we have our ice chest schematics. This is going to just be a little bit of work. 40 straw, 10 iron ingots, and 50 wood planks. And then we can store ice in there, and we'll start to bring down the overall temperature in this room. We've also just made space by our grove up here to dry out more of this hay into straw. So just another minute there and it'll be ready. In addition to all that, I've taken all of the flour that we had in here, and this does store for quite a long time, so we've got a more organized chest for this, as well as our hay, because the hay lasts for quite a long time too, but hay, I mean, it just makes it a little bit more efficient and nice looking so you can tell what's what. We'll get all of that flour in there, and that looks great. And we had another pair of trolls come by. I guess these will have to be good gate guardians. I thought we were strong enough to take these things out now because of all of our extra shooting experience. I mean, look, they can take a little bit off of each troll's health bar, but not really maybe as much as I'd want to. So, hey, at least we have 2 trolls guarding our gate, and that is kind of funny. All right, the ice box is just about ready. Now, I've started to double wall in this entire area over here. A couple of these are still just about done, but I'm trying to create pockets of insulation here. So, the temperature outside is 58 Fahrenheit, 14 Celsius, but in this little pocket right here behind this doorway, we've got 55 and 13, and inside we've got 54 and 12. Now, this is going to start to cool off as this ice box kind of refrigerates everything in there. See, we're just loading that up with a little bit of ice. Now, that does have a time period that it lasts, so only 10 days, 15 fuel. I mean, the fuel is the ice, but whatever. So it's going to start to cool down, and now we've brought the indoor temperature down to refrigerated levels. See, fresh refrigerated spoils in 1.9 years, so that does last a longer time. I've started to try to kind of bring down the temperature in the nearby rooms as well. I don't really want to interfere with work, but I've taken down torches in here so that it doesn't heat up the room anymore. So it's dark and cold in the fridge, and it's got all these airlocks in it because we can at least use these very primitive forms of insulation. Getting it down to actual freezing may be a possibility, but it will require a lot more for that probably, which is kind of a weird hack, but hey, it's a cool thing to be able to do, isn't it? And look, the outdoor temperature is 54, and we've already brought it down to 41 in there. That's great, 40 and dropping. And this is going to be exciting. We have the entire Caribou clan coming in here. These raids are getting really big. Look at all of these raiders, man. Alright, I've managed to aggro the troll to the raiders. This is the greatest moment. We are pretty well armored here, so I think we're more or less safe from them. Let me just make sure that everyone is in the safe zone. We are all set to stay inside of the castle. Alaric is defending the gate just in case if anyone gets through that iron gate up there and everybody else is shooting. Let's just get you over there to slightly better safety, and you over there, and you over there, and I guess that's fine. There's still people shooting at us, though. Evelyn got shot. Okay, it's just a short bow cut, that's fine. I guess we could probably sideswipe this. We really don't want to go after that troll, though. Let's go after those raiders. Those are more important. Alright, these people may actually take down this troll, these barbarians. Let's, shoot the rangers over here on the outside, because these are the real threat right now. And if we just take them down one by one, these are poorly armored peasants. And man, we're getting a lot of shooting experience there. Look at what are they doing to this poor troll. Oh no, you hate to see it. In the meantime, we just weaken the peasants until they die of attrition to the trolls. Oh no, they've taken it down. Well, he still has kin and brethren nearby. Now, we've gotten pretty badly hurt from this, but we did manage to rout them at the gates here. They set a fire to our lampposts on the outside, but the last of them are just going through the fire. We've got one remaining guy named Purple Porpoise who has some pretty serious injuries right here. Let's see if we can save him. Well, we have managed to get Purple Porpoise out to safety, and we are healing his horrible injuries, and he may stay with us as a prisoner. And who knows, maybe he'll go on to have a wonderful life as Mr. Purple Porpoise. With all that, it's time to go ahead and butcher this ancient troll. You do love to see them carry back such a big corpse there. Alright, let's see what we get out of this. It's going to be quite a lot of meat, I'll bet you. We did actually get some troll leather hides. That is really nice. As well as we could have some incredible troll burgers tonight in our new refrigerator slash freezer. Is it working still? Yeah, we're at 16 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, we did get kind of a cold time right here. It's 46 degrees Fahrenheit outside, but on the inside, yeah, we're actually getting down below freezing in our kind of fridge area. That's great. Now, this is kind of a crazy event. We have had meteors fall from the sky with iron golems. This is a medieval event, although they arrive in drop pods, which is kind of funny. Well, they are going to set a fire. It's kind of a neat mechanoid-like item because the raids here get a little bit samey after a while. I gotta admit, I liked the idea of just sitting in a fortress and having raiders come trying to pillage my castle, although it is nice to have something just a little bit different, so I'm gonna keep with it. I think this fits with the deep lore, and it is amazing. And unfortunately, Purple Porpoise actually died of alcohol addiction, which I really didn't expect after all of his grievous wounds. I didn't think that would be the thing to take him, but hate to see him go, and hope it gets better. But we have this other guy named Bottlefjorsen, which is an incredible name to say and a real mouthful. I'm probably going to offer him to the Empire because I want to get some honor, and I think we have enough colonists that this place is really well run now, so I'm not looking to make any major changes with Bottlefjorsen. Another interesting event has befallen us. We have now reached a cold snap, and it's only 11 degrees Fahrenheit out. You're starting to see some of the plants die here. You'll probably see the crops die in a moment, and our freezer is looking a little bit more cold than it was before. It's at 14 degrees Fahrenheit, only 18 out now, and it's dropping. Now, this is an opportunity to create ice. We haven't had a chance like this yet. We maybe had one more cold snap way early on in the colony. Yeah, we're getting some more of that tree death. At last, we arrive at something we haven't yet witnessed. The winter we maybe could have, maybe should have had years ago. It's a new ground for experimentation. Can our new systems harness the power of nature in new and unprecedented ways? I think if we add a few more of these wooden ice block molds into our refrigerator, we could actually do a little bit of freezing here, and maybe if we keep this a low enough temperature, we could just keep making more ice out of ice if it's already insulated enough, which is a little bit nonsensical, but hey, I mean, it kind of works, and we're using so much ridiculous amount of insulation here. I might even just forbid these doors, because I think these are allowing too much warmth to get back into the freezer. So if we just keep this one room as the accessible passageway, this is going to stay nice and cool in here. And yep, sure enough, all of these fields have died. All of the plants have died. We're at only 8 degrees Fahrenheit. It is very, very chilly out now. But hey, that's great because it lets us create more ice here. So what is it inside? It's about the same temperature. Here we go. We're bringing water over to it, and we're freezing more ice for this. We might even put a second chest in here. I've got a couple of passive coolers just to help assist the whole process, but we could even do one outside. We've got one here, and that is just a lot of nice ice for you and me. We are just about done creating ice here. It's finished. We have achieved modernization. Let's see the incredible cubes of translucent ice that are, oh my goodness, look at them. Now they are deteriorating because they're outside, but it's still cold enough that they're frozen. Now that they're in this ice cellar, they're, well, preserved forever, presumably, because they're far enough underground, I suppose. But hey, we have created ice. Hoo-ha! The nature harnessed, our domain sealed, it all comes back to our central protagonist. And what was it all for, other than the arc of what's really going on here? A seed. One man's will to survive that transmuted, then metamorphosed into everything we have and ever will have. The time has come for Alaric to prove himself. We have now reached melee level 16. We're getting really high on this, and Alaric is basically turned into the ultimate fighter here. He has a great sword, two-handed. It is an enormous blade. It's basically the guy from Berserk now, and he has the full armor, and we are going to send him out to fight a grizzly bear. This is like a Beowulfian sort of confrontation with nature. If he slays the grizzly bear, we will give him another title. Hoo-ha, there he goes. The fight with the bear has begun. Alaric, don't lose anything. We believe in you, Alaric. The entire playthrough has been leading up to this. You need to be able to slay very scary wild animals. He's been hit by the bear. How is the bear doing? It looks like the bear is almost down. 11 hours, 8 hours. Alaric has slain the bear. Hoo-ha, hoo-ha, hoo-ha. He needs a title worthy of someone like Hrothgar, King of the Danes. On his return to his Hall of the Nameless Pilgrims of the Grey Mile in exile, our hero has recovered. I think that the only title befitting a great warrior such as Alaric is something like Bearngrim, the hero's journey, the changing of the name at the end of it all. Hoo-ha! Hail High King Bearngrim. Bairn, I think, means like hero or warrior, which is very close to the Old English word for child, ironically, which is like bairn. And Grim just, well, it sounds scary, so. Actually, let's rename him Alaric Bearngrim, because this could get very confusing if we forget that he is our protagonist. Alaric Bearngrim. Hoo-ha, Alaric Bearngrim. But honestly, a bear isn't even that scary, and this is Rimworld. We need a more Rimworldy type of animal. Alaric is fighting the Mega Sloth, one of the mightiest beasts in the game world, and he has already dodged every attack, even in full plate armor here. Look at him go. Look at him. Oh, wait, has he lost anything? No. Only a bruise from the Mega Sloth. This is a set of feats worthy of a king or a great thane. Nothing lost. This is maybe the greatest moment in my entire career. We're going to rename him Slothgar. He is Slothgar. Slothgar. Hoo-ha-ha. All right, I've tried a new experiment here. We've got 72 degrees Fahrenheit outside, but I am attempting to create an actual freezer. This is summer weather. Although if we go into our airlock, 54, 63, but if we get all the way inside here, I just added in a second ice chest and we've filled that up. Now maybe if we close these doors so that people aren't coming in and out and letting so much of the heat in. Just a couple from our kitchen here. We're actually getting down into the low 30s right here, and we're about to hit, yep, just as I thought, we are below freezing temperature now in our freezer. This is admittedly a little bit stupid, but hey, I mean, we're using ice to create more ice, which is incredible in so many ways. Look, we're down to 28. This is crazy. Okay, we just created a Rimworld medieval freezer. This is awesome. All right, we've got another Imperial trader here. We're going to send off Bottlefjorsen, whose name is just maybe excessively fun to say here. And did we actually get another title? No, we're still just a freeholder. That's why I thought this quest was a little bit futile to go after. But hey, I mean, Bearngrim has been born, and for that, I feel pretty great. You know, taking it all around, I'd say we've just about everything we set out to do. We survived and eked out a way of life. We shut out nature from our walls within, lit our heart, established our hall, and adorned it with jewels. Even advanced some breakthrough technologies, maybe even a bit beyond our time. And for all that, we raised a warrior worthy of it. Bearngrim, Thane of the Nameless Pilgrims of Grey Mile. The last remaining task, in keeping with our theme, is the slaying of one last foe. After a lot of work, we've finally reached melee level 20 with Alaric. So he is a little bit hurt right now from the last of his training. He's been fighting mega sloths again, as it is his custom. But that said, we've now pretty much created the ultimate warrior. Veteran, nimble, the highest possible melee skill, even some of the best gear in the game. We could probably throw down this round shield. Let's just put that off. We even have an excellent quality steel greatsword. Now, it's going to take him a few days to heal up, because right now he's pretty badly hurt from all of his training and the wilderness, but I think it all culminates in the slaying of a great beast, the likes of which we haven't sparred with yet. Or at least not for a single man. At last, we're finally healing up. With all that, we've finally crafted a masterwork steel greatsword. Talia has titled this the Fearful Pig. This is the greatest weapon we have created up until this point in our playthrough. The Fearful Pig, this weapon bears an image of a township. Makes absolutely no sense. Okay, well, whatever. The Legend of the Fearful Pig. This is about as good as it gets. We're gonna put down our excellent greatsword. Now, I have awaited this day for 5 years. It's time for Alaric to single-handedly slay the Lindworm. Now, if we do this, we can finally forge the greatest armor and crown him king. Thane of the Mountain Hall. Well, if we had a mountain. Thane of the Hall, then. If we do this, at last we can crown him king. The Lindworm is asleep. Let's strike now while the iron is hot. Alaric. Hoo-ha, hoo-ha. It's time to fight the Lindworm. This is the classic proving of one's manhood against a great and terrible beast. It's the Lindworm. I will strike while it is asleep, and cross your fingers, because this is one of the strongest enemies in the game, but we are as powerful as a warrior can be. We have bruised the Lindworm, and I have actually dodged the first of the Lindworm's attacks. This is going really well. Let's look at the fight. Okay, I have gotten some dirt in the Lindworm's eye. Oh my goodness, he's actually damaged the Lindworm. Hoo. Ha, hoo, ha, hoo, ha. Come on, we have to give Alaric some backup here with some hoo-ha. He's dodged every hit of the Lindworm. Look at this man go without any help. He's going to single-handedly slay the Lindworm. Oh my goodness, he has been hit though. He has been scratched on the torso by the Lindworm. Oh, it's not looking too good. He's got Lindworm acid in his whole body. Oh no. Am I going to have to call for backup? No, let's see if he can still just do it on his own. Come on, Alaric. We believe in you. Everyone's rooting for you, Alaric. You've taken the Lindworm down to half health. Oh my gosh, it's got only 13 hours left. Am I going to have to run away? No, I'll die in 11. Oh, I don't think we can run from here. It must be done. It must be done. Don't let it slay you, Alaric. And Alaric is down. Well, alright. That's what friends are for, as Stevie Wonder once said. Let's go ahead and slay the Lindworm together. Well, that was pretty good. Honestly, that was as powerful as we were going to get, and you know what? Maybe in 50% of those fights, we would have beaten the Lindworm. Is Alaric actually going to die now? No, he'll be fine. He's got 6 hours left. Let's just take down this Lindworm. We'll be totally fine. Don't worry about me. All right, well, that was a very exciting way to end the playthrough, albeit somewhat anticlimactic. Oh no, save Alaric. I get by with a little bit of help from my friends, as Ringo Starr once said. Well, there you have it. All's well that ends well. Slay that Lindworm. Don't let him hang around. That's not safe. Well, you love to see it. The incredible Beowulfian myth of the hero who tried to fight a mythic beast and almost won. That was actually much better than I expected. I really didn't think we would win that fight. Yo, what did you think this playthrough was? Did you think we were actually going to try to take a Lindworm? No, it was all just a massive excuse for me to build what I think has been one of my favorite colonies up till this point. I really enjoyed building this castle, all the thematic stuff. Honestly, I just really wanted to play the Rimworld medieval mod packs. And yes, we will save Alaric. Don't die, Alaric. You have 4 hours to go, 3 hours, and 4 hours again. No, save this man. He's not doing too well. Slothgar. No, we can't call him Lindgar, I suppose, but, well, he did try. You gotta hand him that. You gotta hand him that. Alright, he's gonna live. He'll be fine, don't worry about him. And we get the Lindworm scales out of it. And you know what? I think for all that, you deserve something. Well, I don't know about you, but I think that this has been one of the happiest of stories. And for that, Alaric, Slothgar, Bairngrim, whatever your name is, you survived, and I am going to give you the crown. Yes, that's right, the crown. But you know what? It was one of the greatest playthroughs of all time. Anyway, Rimworld Medieval.
Huge shout out to all the modders, in particular to the vanilla expanded mod pack. This would not have been possible without any of that, and I thought it was a really great time. Do recommend you guys go check those out after this if you enjoyed the playthrough. I'll put a link in the description to all the mods so you can just check it out. And I think that's about it. This has been pretty fun, but I think I'm ready for a more futuristic playthrough again. If you guys got any ideas, let me know in the comments below. Really been enjoying getting back into Rimworld. It's just, well, it might be one of my favorite games I've ever played on this channel. It's just, there's so many things you can do with it, and Rimworld just never ends with the novelty. You gotta love it. Anyway, that's all for today. If you made it up till this point in the video, I do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed. As always, I'm Ambiguous Amphibian. A big thanks to my patrons, all of whom have a lot of hoo-ha energy. Until next time.